by the, where the dot is, you know,
Where?
north and south. Yeah, we can,
So,
it'd be kind of nice to put up along that line up there possibly.
I hate to use my computer and mess things up more.
Putting one there and then one on the west side then too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of room over the west side, because we own most of that dirt over there, so. The only thing I suppose you're gonna, are they battery operated, the emergency lights that are in, do we have to have electricity to them, so.
I think we'll probably have, I mean, sound maybe take power to them because they have light. And would you want to look at putting a security system on them? That's the other, that's something we'll also have to talk about because you gotta leave them open,
Right.
you know?
It'd be nice to have some kind of camera or something in there that,
So I don't know if that's
so if somebody comes in there
possibility.
messing around, you'll be able to see who's in
What?
there.
But there'll be some discussions we'll have to have on that. To operate them, I guess. Keep them nice, I guess. That west side would be good to have. She can check.
What's
What's up?
she doing that again this year?
Yeah, I believe she is and stuff, so. She was looking for the raise.
Waste
Everything
everything else.
else? Well, last year she said that with COVID and stuff, she didn't have many campers there and everything. So then she didn't, use much stuff, and she didn't have that much to do either and stuff because of the trailers weren't there, but.
Somebody got a shot at.
That may be.
Keenan Street Department, they still have one door left to replace on the west side bathrooms. They did one on the, up on the north lake last year, but they haven't been back this year. So I talked to Wayne yesterday, and he was gonna try to get a hold of them guys over in Bismarck and see if they were still coming to do that.
So they do replace the doors on.
Yeah, yep. My guys are gonna put the door closure on that one at the north lake.
Sorry. Well, turn it over to you, Jake. How's the cooler coming?
When I talked to Red River, they said April 16th was the date they were shooting for. 2 to 3 days to get it installed. I mean, we know it.
That's tearing the old one down too and everything. or what?
Yeah, that's turning the old box out, putting in the new one, and then getting it rolling. I figured I'd wait 2 to 3 days before we put anything into it, just to make sure everything's working, all the bugs are out, that type of deal. So,
You still planning on the 1st of May?
1st of May, yep. The bathroom, I know there's confusion on the bathroom. It's the bathroom that's inside the building that you access from the outside. That's where the shower, the floor is rotten underneath the shower. So that's been tore out. And Finley Lumber delivered some subfloor. Ceiling tiles for the kitchen came in through Finley Lumber. That's all delivered yesterday.
Paul hasn't been out there to look at that. Mentioned it the other day. Has it been out there?
No, I kind of looked at it and stuff, and I know he was busy. He had a day where he could come out, and I couldn't make it out there, but we'll get that all put back together and everything. And then I'm going to the dumpster, the smaller dumpster. The bottom is chopped in it, but Reed talked to Randy Richards yesterday, and he has a same size dumpster for $1,000, and yeah, and I'm just gonna buy it. Just $1,000. I figured for a dumpster, that's pretty reasonable. And there's one available, so it's like rather than try to track one down. The water's everybody's been calling to see when we're turning the water, but we're gonna wait till contract date. You know, if it's really nice out, maybe we'll turn it on May 1st, but the contract starts May 15th, so we just figured wait till then.
Getting free right now, possibly.
That's what for this week, but next week's another week.
Richard was saying the screen had been froze up too, the Lions.
Yeah,
Is it thought of it?
yeah, I haven't heard, you know, we've been around water and stuff like that, so since you guys pumped it and everything, we haven't had any issues. I just kind of figured, partly I wasn't running water for that long, so. Times, we got those, so, yeah, basically waiting for the bridges and we'll be able to get going.
We'll have to get an electrician for that then, or what?
Or, yep, and I did talk to Tyler Slayton. It's lots, what is it?
Like,
And just to try to give him a window, they said April, and he said that's still fine. I've got to send him over
schematics of it.
yeah, from Red River, just so he knows, but he said he can still do that, so. Well, one thing was, do we have extra boxes, like 15 of them? For the campground,
Extra what?
like boxes,
We have since 35, it's 35.
like for the.
Electrical box.
I think they're 35, I don't think there's any.
I think it's in the 50s.
So 35.
There's just one, there's one that last year got banged up, so it should be replaced, and I was gonna have Tyler look at it when he got out there. Or just one to be, it still works, it just, I didn't wanna have it get any worse, I just figured we'd fix it if we had another box around.
It's 35, but there was never any difference. I'm hoping.
But I think they're all 30s, 50s out there on the thing, yeah, 30, all better than
There's only, I wanna say there's 2 left in the North Campground that are like, for weekend campers, that have 30 amp yet. And for the most part, you let somebody know that, and they've been fine with it, so. Most of them have their own generator if they, basically, if they don't run all the stuff in their camper at the same time, it's fine, so.
The older camper.
The older camper's fine, so about 8 or 30 amps.
Yeah, so when they run both their air conditioners and the micro,
They're talking on the north to Cal's coming in.
Yeah. and they're kind of right in the middle stuff, so. So that warms up a little more, I'm gonna paint the game and fish bathrooms, I guess they are the ones in the North Campground. Paint those, put screens over the vents to keep the bugs and mosquitoes out, and then we're gonna just put some, picked up a little solar panel light system, so they can have lights in there. And they're easier to clean down and so. All kinds of outdoor stuff in this to do, so. We got beach back, so. They pushed it back, so that was nice because.
We don't know when this storm shelters are coming in, but Richard, before he got here, went looking at Ironmore Dam, he said, look, we'll have to figure some stuff out of that too, by the time we get there.
So, is there 2 going in or just 2? So one over at the pavilion side and then one on the north side. And will they have power to them or they just
We were just discussing that, we don't know how soon we get, I think, probably, because they're gonna have, well, I'm gonna have to figure out a security system and then, camera something, and then they got, some see light.
Gotta have some kind of light.
Door opened up, light.
Maybe they're only gonna have
Just a dot light though, or?
might be a thing to do for some, maybe they're going to put something in there, just charging the battery. Don't have to have much light in it.
I think they're gonna have to keep it on.
no, but I guess if there's nothing really in them, it's just a storm shelter then hopefully. Yes, good point. It does do it.
The other thing you guys should look at, it's almost impossible, and I forgot about that big. You can't have that big light on in front of the store, it's not put in the right spot, so every single bug in the light comes there and gets to the front. I think if you put a big light on the other side, but a hole that went in that parking lot is pitch dark at night.
Light it up.
Light up that parking lot a little bit. So there's a big light that's on the store itself, but it's so far over, it's above the door, so every bug in America and the whole lake comes there. If there was a light across that shined down on the parking lot, kind of went up, then you could at least, you can't see nothing.
Remember that kind of light over there?
It is, but it's over there and it shines up the thing, it's,
It's all over at
it's
Denver.
over, it's, doesn't work.
So you gotta be on that other side. I can talk to Sawyer Smith too.
Then maybe they can just turn it or something.
Something needs to go this way, like going this way.
Doesn't solve it, so.
Yeah, but
It's not very bright.
they replaced all the lights, I think around the lane, but they forgot the one right behind the restaurant. That's where all electric comes into. So he mentioned they would come back out, so I was like, wow. They got the truck out there to put one up to that pole out there, that'd be nice to get it with us.
It needs a brighter light, it's not.
Yeah,
They won't go far far. Does that qualify out there? For the light program that we did before us? That every building we don't. Like what we just did. Did we tell us what the quality ones up there?
Red light now? A 50/50?
and it's a super light. But Sawyer had mentioned they forgot to do, so they did the 3 in the campground, but they forgot to do one right behind the building, so said they did have to come out. Must have been a Saturday, Friday when they're, so.
She was supposed to bring up electricity through the pole on the other side of it.
It's all there.
Yeah, there's power to that pole, so
Yeah,
it would be more or less just putting up a light up top.
What should get up there, you do? It's light up.
Alright, anybody got anything else? I got anything? Anybody?
Are you gonna talk to them about the light or who's gonna talk to them about the light?
I can get a hold of Sawyer, yeah,
Good.
see what he thinks or what they could get out there, him or George. Yeah, I can get that.
We let a couple of us know, if they don't show up for the coolers.
Yep.
Supposed to,
Yep.
just so we know.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch base with Kim Erickson, that's what I've been dealing with through Red River this week, just to, cause he said things are still a little goofy, I guess, but I'm still waiting on my sink. That we were 4 months ago too, so. And I talked to I talked to Shane about the plumbing in the bathrooms. We need to get things fixed and stuff, so it's on their radar. Hopefully my sink comes in at the same time they can come in, do it all together, same week.
Who's doing the bathroom project?
Myself and then Landon's, a friend of mine's helping me out. We'll get the subfloor in. I've got extra flooring from the kitchen, so we'll just put that in the bathroom rather than use the stuff we put throughout the.
That's the second time we've done that.
It's about the third time in the bathroom. It's just, there's 3 layers of laminate in there. Or,
Also,
I don't know what it's called.
look like a ceramic tile would better than that.
I don't really know. It's tough with the biggest problem is the kids gonna use it for a rain station. I get it, they're playing on the beach. So I think if we try to control that a little more with like keys for the campers, and then I put in plumbing in the basement so we can run out the northwest corner and put like a little rinse station out there so they can use that rather than coming in the building, tracking all the sand, and they forget the water on, and then there's a vent for the bathrooms. Well, everybody thinks that's like a drain. It's not a drain, so all the water, you know, they don't think anything of it to push the water towards that or let it run on the ground. They think it drains. All it does is rot everything out.
Probably need to be blocked from the general public and just the campers use that one.
Well, I like the idea of having
Yeah, I think
rinse outside.
A key or
Yeah.
something on it, but
'Cause then we can
I think there used to be one outside.
you can have like a shower head.
shower and everything.
But they just don't have garden hose, cause you don't have that.
Yeah, I know we did it with our cousin's place because, you know, the kids, they stand and everything and it saved his cabin too, because they just fit outside, they can run, they can rinse off. and It won't be real warm water, it'll be warm enough, so they don't sit there all day. But I think that'll help a lot with the bathroom issues. Keeping them cleaner too, just not tracking all the mud. Dirt, just everything through it, so.
Alright, anybody got anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? For a second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Turn it back over to Richard.
Very much.
Thank you.
I don't always. I did.
Okay, it's,
Thank you, guys.
thank you. Well, 8:23, we'll resume the Steele County Commission meeting. Is there any agenda additions? I do have one, not sure that we will act on it, but I'm waiting for a attorney response before it meets over Gold Lake Township. It's the map that they did sign. Our township, Gold Lake Township approved it. Or is it one that's in this in the college? So, not sure it's gonna happen yet. So, response from our township here. Any other additions? I see Emily's got on here the 911 position there and stuff. So, I don't know. Richard and I interviewed them and Carly the other day for the 911 coordinator, and we decided we'd wait and we'd have a full board discussion on it, and then we'd make the decision on that at that time.
Motion to approve the agenda with additions.
Motion, do we have a second? Second by Brandon, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
We do minutes?
Can I get approval of minutes?
Thank you.
Someone. Motion by Ted, do you have a second? Second by Brian, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I believe so. I'm not sure, yeah. Last I heard, she's coming. So, the P card program has started. We got the cards, we started it with all the departments, April 1st. Hoping that helps resolve some of the billing issues and, office bill issues with different departments. The road department has decided it would be best if each employee over there had P cards, had their own card to fill up with gas and everything else. So we added them on, and then we also added 2 more people to the vet service the two main drivers, so they have a card to use on their own also. So I believe Carly got Wayne and Brad trained yesterday. They were the only two who didn't make any of the trainings, and Brad is horrible at looking at his email or saying he can't come. He was on duty that day. So that, I don't know. That's a department issue for Wayne, I suppose. Other than that, the P-card program's going great, I think. We've had a lot of good comments back from different departments that it will make their life a lot easier. So, just a quick update on that. Time clocks. Richard, I discussed with Richard, upgrading our current system to a newer version of what we already have. And we went ahead and did that. That does allow employees to clock in via web. So they're able to clock in and also manage their own times, which hopefully will help with a lot of the missed punches for signing in, signing out, lunches, all of that. They'll be able to punch in and out when they're in Hillsborough or at meetings, trainings, things like that. So their hours are just automatically in there.
You know,
For them.
years ago, this was discussed before on time cards. They said if you don't punch in, you don't get paid. And we're not doing it like that. That's what, years ago, that's what they said.
And there is stuff in the policy manual that if you forget your keys or whatever, you are to go home and get it. It just, I mean, yeah, there's no, the policies are there, things just are that way.
Still, this new system still requires the employee to interact with their time, so that way they can go back to them and say, hey, there's where we at, we didn't punch in.
So tracks the location too.
No.
But not track the location.
Amy. She over there.
It'd be nice if it did.
Well, I just understand that.
Yeah.
That's,
That was
with the other, there was
I
another,
gotta go in 10 minutes.
What's the difference for the, I know you've gone over all the options a million times, but
The 10 o'clock.
to the
The
location.
current one we have does not have the geolocation. The other option from the same company, right?
Mhm.
What has the geo fencing or geolocation right now, and that does have an app also available right now.
is that T-sheets?
It's
It's cheaper than T-sheet.
yeah, it's AccuPro or AccuPrint. It's the company. It's who we have. It's our current time clock.
So if we wanted to add that, we could, or we can't.
We would just have to switch.
Yeah.
We would lose out on the $28 we're paying this month, I think, for,
It's on the contract.
it's just a monthly fee.
A flat monthly fee.
Uh-huh.
T-sheets was $8 per person per month.
And this is 28 up to 19 people with 2 time clocks if we buy 2 time clocks. And I think we would need them for the road department.
It was brought up that some people will like that. I have that in my business, and it's very nice to
Yeah.
to track them too during the day,
So-
where they're at,
Yeah.
but they have to put on their phone, which some people don't like that, but
That's the only issue is are people gonna want to get reimbursed if they use their phone? That's the only negative part. But if there's time clocks for the road department, it really shouldn't be, and Ben and Catherine are already getting reimbursed, and they're the two that are on most of the time. They already have county phones, I should say.
I do pay it, like my employees, I pay $35 a month to their cell phone, so. One way to. But it is a nice option, so like, if they punch in and they're still not here, say if they're coming from Hope to here, they punch in halfway here, and it shows where they're at, tracks them where they're at for the day. Just convenient for us, for me anyways. So there's certain things that'd be nice for the road department.
It's been nice that they're able to go ahead and enter. Too, and then not comment when we have to put a comment in there. It's bringing the responsibility back onto the employee, which is,
Oh, it should be.
that should be accountability.
So right now, the current one, all police have to come here and punch card. Yeah,
Before.
with the new one here now they can just do it on their phone here. Where do we
They
got?
can punch in from anywhere, I believe, from their phone.
They just
Yeah, like
log
the
in
new-
through a
the new
web.
system.
A web base.
It's web based.
There's only a handful of us trying on that one, the web based one right now. So I still do have other people using the old hands on. Just to make sure that it works and you like it. But Catherine said she's been using her phone to log in, so. With the web base.
So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you want to keep with that or you brought up the other tracking part? Do you need that or just move forward like it is, try it out like it is, or come back?
And try it as it is and go from there.
There's no contract, so you can change it at any time.
The one that we currently have, the web-based one, is going to have an app and will eventually do the geolocation, but they had no time frame on when that would happen.
Thoughts, the rest of you guys? Can go or you want to?
They're like, just keep doing it, see how it works. I think,
Revisit later on if we think we have issues with it or if we're thinking we use.
that's the,
Just did not want to purchase time clocks if we weren't sure we were gonna stay with this one. 'Cause they do use different time clocks. Systems.
But everything else works, all of our fobs and all.
Yeah, the fobs will be the same.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for the information.
Amy does all the time management stuff with
Yeah.
employees, so their leave, all of that, payroll, so. She's the go-to.
Thank you.
We're ahead of schedule. We'll talk about what? 911 extension.
Let's talk about the extension. We have 9 o'clock,
Yes.
okay, so I guess we do have time for. Want to talk about 911 now?
yeah,
Russell and I interviewed 2 applicants, Ben Gates, Harley. We had 2 people apply in-house. We had, they're both very good candidates. Really made it a tough decision. Carly is not completely familiar how it works, but she would learn fast. I think she's a great asset to the county. I think she's also looking, somewhat another way to make some more money working here at the county. I personally, I mean, it's a tough decision. I can see Carly's point. I think it's more up Ben's alley though. He's already pretty much doing it.
what's Carly's point?
What's what?
What's Carly's point?
What do you point?
You said you could see Carly.
Well, as far as making more money,
Oh, I see.
she wants to
Advance.
advance more in county. She does a great job for our county. I would hope somewhere down the road we can find something else for her to do. Just that help her with the wage. She's young, young girl or a county and. I would hate to- Not something for cheap.
I wouldn't need it. Be,
So going back to Title Six. If this is something that we've done in the past.
Mhm.
uh, Internal moves,
yes and no,
yes and no.
yes and no. It's been
Do
all
we
over
need
the
to be
board.
more consistent on that,
Right,
just as far as hiring in general, because Title Six, if you look in the policy manual, page 3, it points us back towards hiring internally and
Mhm.
making that decision. And from the decision before, when we had that special meeting, I think here at the commission, we pretty much picked Ben to take that position
Mhm.
and then come back to the next commission meeting to discuss Title Six. I think kind of it's got me off guard, I guess.
Right.
And are we doing it right? That's what I
Well-
want to know, if it's every position.
We should be advertising it, internal, external, for everybody, every time.
And that's what we need to be consistent on,
Mhm.
either A, moving forward, or I mean, we could go back to. So every internal move that we've ever done, that the commission, does that open that up to them
Just what,
to go back and have to post all them jobs internally?
I'm trying to think, I mean, yeah.
Is that something we need to discuss with Charlie?
we could.
I'm just
The problem
asking.
is the Title VI is also transferred with it. Several different people do. So,
Because just for me, I guess we need to know and then be consistent. That's all.
I agree.
So, and that's just something I need to learn myself, so we can look into that.
Well, there's been a couple of jobs I remember that posted them.
That's,
So, but I know that being consistent, but I doubt that they'll be the same.
Sure.
I think this is a good reminder for us all, so we can move forward. But we need to post it.
Is Title Six, my question, is Title Six just for full-time positions? So all positions, so I'm supposed to be using Title Six for my part-time position, which I'm lucky to find somebody. That, I need the Title Six, yeah.
I can't even keep up with your part-time position, so.
I know that, that's why I can't either, so that's why I'm wondering if you want this to happen, do I still have to follow the Title Six? I mean, once I find somebody, I grab it. That wants to be part-time, I don't have time to go through Title Six, I mean, it's not like it's a big, part-time job, it's only hit and miss, so that would be my question is,
Maybe we should have Charlie check for clarification.
I don't wanna break the rules. If that's the rules, I gotta figure something out.
Title VI stuff pertaining to the road funding and whatnot, that's posted right on the North Dakota DOT website for Title VI too. I was gonna send that out to you guys, but because I felt like I was being questioned on if it's really a thing or not, and I'm not the Title VI coordinator, Amy is, and the training is coming up next month again.
Well, no.
But it's not taken seriously either when she goes around to all the offices. People just wanna sign the sheet and be done with it. So it's going back to, actually making people show up to trainings and do things and actually listen to what is being presented. And that's not just for Title VI, I think that's for a lot of stuff. Just get pushed on to the side and signed off on.
P cards,
P-cards too, Wayne.
I read it, I maybe sit there and listen to
I
it.
know, she got you guys through yesterday, so
Yeah.
thank you for making
Maybe
that
sit there
effort.
until I'm done reading it.
Russell, do you want to, talk about what you think about?
I agree with what Richard said and stuff, them is kind of perfect fit for the job and stuff. And if you look at your little book you got at home from all the courthouses in the state, And most of them, emergency manager and 911 coordinator are the same person. Except for when you go to the bigger Ward County, Burley, Castle, then they have separate 911 and emergency managers. So I don't know, like Richard said, Carly would be good too and stuff. I asked Ben if he had too much on his plate to actually, with conflicts with this job and stuff, but they said no. Carly could do it all. Or Carly said that she could do it on Fridays when she did her sheriff's duties for Wayne. And she said some days she has an hour to do for Wayne, sometimes it's 2 hours. And then she said she could go ahead and fill in the rest of the day with the 911 at that point. So, I don't know, we were thinking, well, did we take the road department away from Ben and then, maybe ask Carly if she would want to take that on too, to, lessen some of Ben's duties? So I don't know.
He's got way too many eggs in his basket. He does stuff with Carroll County. I mean, we need to divide this up. That road department, either Reed starts doing that or Harley should. I don't. Ben's got too many things going on. We need to divide this up. That road department would be more. Then we are deal with 911.
Well, in the minutes of the last meeting, it said discussion was held regarding the 911 coordinator position. Gates will fill the role until someone is hired. An ad will be placed for 2 weeks and follow-up interviews will be arranged. The board will pay Gates $1,325.80 additional for the month of March for the 911 duties. That doesn't mean that he's gonna get that paid now, starting up. That is what Don Houston got paid for his 18, 20 years of doing that. So I suppose by rights, we can adjust that, start that out at 800, we'll go from there if we decide to go with it.
We did discuss, Russell and I did discuss the wage on that. It's probably paid more than it should be right now. We kind of talked $800.
Which time is it a month?
Well, it really varies.
I'm gonna, right over, there's some things that are messed up in there, and that has to be corrected. After somebody figures out after the first couple of months, that job's gonna be a few hours a day, or a few hours. Couple hours. And we has phones in it. It's not gonna be a big of a job.
There is gonna be some big stuff coming up through.
There is, there is stuff.
We got $500,000 in radios that need to get.
Right, but that's through the emergency
I
management.
get that, but part of that
It,
stuff.
it does come through,
Fixing-
yes, Brandon.
Fixing that, so you can't say that's gonna, you're not gonna know. I mean, you kinda know, yeah, maybe when it gets going, there's a lot of work that's gotta get done before.
If you put all that, if you put the radios on with them, yes, it's gonna add up in the end, yeah. But
In my opinion.
that's 4 years away. No doubt in my mind. We're still.
There is some stuff to get caught up though.
There is.
To get caught up.
There is.
You
That's
get
not,
up- get outdated.
that's not put on this side, it's kind of put on the other side, it's not necessarily our fault.
No, I'm not saying, just something to change.
There is, it's gonna take a couple months to get done, it's gonna be an all-day affair for somebody, or not maybe all day, but it's gonna take a few extra hours for at least 3 months. And then, like Brandon said, like, could come down the radios in a couple of years. 911 shouldn't have much to do with the radios, but it will.
Ben did mention that in the interview with him, I mean, he did tell us that was gonna be part of it. And also, working with other noise fighters, fire departments, emergency people, people, police, that kind of stuff. Would you guys want to talk with either of those guys, Carly or Ben, or do you want to make a decision on what we reported back?
Well, I guess I'm ready to make the decision. I think we basically already did.
You have a motion?
Make a motion, appoint Ben Gates is. Do we want to discuss what we want to pay or?
I myself think we should discuss the pay. I mean, we can always start out a little lower than what the current is. This is my opinion. If we start out lower, then we can always work up.
I feel like Richard on that part. I want to hear from the other three board members here, or what your thoughts are on that.
I don't know if we have a true number, but Russ and I are kind of thinking. And we know that it's lower, but I guess that's what us two figured we would like to start out at.
1,300.
1525, whatever.
That was based on Don's longevity here.
Yeah.
Did that increase over time, I guess, or? No, Don's did.
Talk to Ben about that?
We have not. I guess if we're gonna offer that again,
Yeah.
we can sure bring down.
He might not think it's worth it.
$300.
I think if we're gonna offer it again, we need everybody's approval, or we need a, probably need. Well, everybody's got approval before we even talk. That's what we're gonna do. Ted was had some, you were talking, he's maybe overworked.
Well, I think he's putting,
My concern is that as well, but it works very well.
I would just say if you move forward with that, with what he has to watch the hours. I mean, he's already doing more than 40, so I just would hate
I think
for anyone that, I mean, it's not fair to work more and not get paid.
I think we should have like a 3 or 6 month probation, just to see how things, I mean, just so we can review.
I think Ben will tell us, I believe, that if he's getting overworked. He stated that before. The other thing,
He is, but he doesn't admit it.
yeah,
true.
He is, but he doesn't admit it. And he just keeps pushing it on and pushing it on, and some of his other duties are neglected along the way.
True.
Well, if you give him 1325 months for a year, that's $15,900. On top of what he's already making now.
his,
I didn't want to pay you all that long.
his monthly payment right now, he gets a month, if they add the 1525 on it, $6,852.84 a month. That's too much. You need to take something away and give it to somebody else. There's other people that could use that extra money and probably do as good. Saying which one, but we should make a change. Why do we keep adding and adding and adding under one person? Next thing we know, here we go.
I know the reason, Ted. Because we don't have the people to apply for the jobs. And then we try to give it to somebody else, in-house, wants So that's,
We have
How it goes.
one over there that could do the same thing.
I totally agree with you, but the thing is, on this job, I think it really fits Ben's. I mean, I like to keep everybody so they're all advancing as much as we can, but in this one, to me, it just works out well for Ben. What he's doing already, it's already part of his job, almost, emergency management.
And he's got experience
He
doing.
does have a lot of experience in it. Harley is a great employee, and that's where it's really tough for I mean, I really had to think about this for a long time.
that's why we didn't make the decision, sorry to interrupt,
No,
was because it was a tough decision to make, and we thought it should be a full board.
we originally were gonna give this to Ben, and then we would put it back to Title VI, that we had the, advertising. I truly think Harley'd be a great person at it as well, but it fits Ben so well that that's the only issue that I have. I have a worry that he is overworked or he's got too much on his plate as well. I totally agree with you. That's why I think if we do hire him, we give a probation. And if he can't do it, then we have to take it away from him, or take something else away from him. That is a big concern I have. So that's what my thoughts are.
Yeah, as long as he knows what our concern is, we keep an eye on it.
But I think for us to move forward, if that's our plan, we need to make a motion. We need to vote on it. We need a motion to hire whoever, we need to make that motion, and then we have to have, if that's how it goes down, if we do make a motion to hire Ben, we need to have Ben come down here, tell him our concerns, and be upfront with him right away, and then tell him what to talk about wages, and then go from there. We need to make sure everything's upfront. Discuss it. So Brian, have you, what are your thoughts?
To me, I feel the exact same way. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer for his experience that it should be Ben. But I feel the same way as, does he have too much? And I'm worried about Carly, something else for her to do too. Because we need to have her here.
Yes.
So we gotta find a way to keep her here, and if that means the shop. Amy's almost full-time with a tax thing now, too.
If not, I think it's gonna lead more into more full-time.
She's spending a lot of time with the tax stuff, and maybe that's what we need, and it's kind of. Maybe Carly could take over some of Amy's things. Raised or something, I don't know, I'm just spitballing. But with my thinking is with this thing with these radios coming up, and Ben's been already working with this, doesn't make any sense for us to throw somebody in there brand new. When he knows exactly what's going on. And he can step in and run that thing tomorrow. With what he's running it right now.
I agree. My opinion is if it, 911 wasn't so intertwined with his already jobs, I would have voted for Carly. Just because I don't want Ben to be overworked or too much on his plate.
Well, I think we're all kind of general consensus is Ben is the right candidate, but I think our issue is we want to find something for Carly.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's so much about because experience wise and stuff like that, he's the perfect candidate. But we want to do something for Carly too to keep her here. Let's, find something that can get her the electric money too.
picking somebody else, you know.
I don't, we have not discussed this with Carly or Ben, whether or not they need to be planning on giving enough or tax stuff down the road that Carly would be interested in doing, you know, say Fur Road, for example, or tax, you know, more stuff from the auditor's office. You know, we haven't brought any of that up. We should bring it up to her.
I agree with that.
Well, we did ask Carly, you know, what her plans for the future were. And she did say that she would love to retire in Steele, right here, she said. She said, I have no places to go. Finley is now her home, and she's always lived here in Steele County. And she feels welcome here and stuff, and this is where she sees her future. It's right here, and hopefully we can keep her. You know? It's the less job interviews we've got to do, the better. In my book.
All right, so does anybody have any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
Burden of need a motion, right?
Make a motion to offer 911 job to Ben Gates. Salary. Back to you guys, Mark.
Should, what's that? Should that be a separate motion or should we? Motion on the salary, do we all? Think we should bring that in here, and if that's good, and then discuss what's. He may not accept it. We won't.
We have always made motions on wages previously.
So will it be all in one motion?
Well, you can do them separate, but I do think you should talk to
Yeah.
them and then put it on the record.
So we have, Kim Jacobs, it's supposed to be here 9 o'clock.
Kim is here.
You should hear.
So,
Yep, Kim's right outside.
so are you gonna make a motion right now, to just, Ben, you wanna come back to the wage?
The job to Ben, yep.
We have a motion made by Brian, Brandon, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brian, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Kim is here now?
We'll discuss.
We'll discuss salary and our expectations with Ben. Later. Hi, Kim. Thank you for coming. So our last meeting, Kim, we discussed that we'd like to have the department heads done once, you know, every other month or so, just an update. We feel it's important that there's some things maybe being missed, or maybe there isn't, we just wanna know, there's a good chance where we can all talk, discuss things.
Is there anything particular that you'd like to start with this morning? I mean, I could prepare a few items.
I don't think so at this time. I mean, was there any certain things that you guys want to talk about? Questions? I think we just rather have a report of what's going on, and then if there's any questions afterwards.
I thought it might be helpful to, if I may, to start, I thought it might be helpful to kind of give a quick overview of what services we provide and what caseload numbers look like. This is a copy of the quarterly board report that we provide each quarter to the Human Service Zoning Board. So this was most recently presented during our March week. But it's been done over many years. We have historical data, 16 plus years. But what we do is we take a snapshot of each unit. We try to give a snapshot of what caseload looks like. And then we do report the data each year on the same report, so you can kind of see the trend line across the board. So the first report is from our Children and Family Services unit. So this is our unit that does foster care, that does child protective services, that does preventive services, family-centered engagement services, and the like. Currently, we have 14 children in foster care. Actually, that changed because of yesterday. We now have 15 children in foster care. 4 of them are placed with relative placements. 3 are in county foster homes. 2 are in a higher level of care, which is a therapeutic foster home. Typically, that is children that either have complex medical needs or children that have more complex behavioral health or mental health needs. With that, we've also, in the month of March, we completed 16 child protection assessments. So that was 16 reports of child abuse and neglect that were assessed to determine it's, in lack of better terms, we don't use the word investigation, but that might be a term that you might be the most familiar with. So we review the facts that are provided, complete interviews, see how it applies with law, meeting whether it meets the definition of child abuse and neglect or not, and then determine what services might be the most appropriate to assist that family, what level of intervention, if any, would be needed.
Is that number up since COVID started?
Actually, North Dakota, Legacy Valley, and nationwide, we saw a dip during COVID because children were just less accessible. So when they once were, when schools reopened, we saw a bump. Typically, on an average year, we complete about 125 assessments. So the number of 16 is pretty, I mean, it's reasonable for the period. But we did see a dip, and then we saw kind of a surge when children kind of reached public eye again. Family-centered engagement, that is a partnership we have with the Village Family Service Center at the statewide, where the family is looking like they might go more deep into the child welfare system. And we feel that they could benefit from bringing the family together as well as professionals to do a really intensive plan to see if we can mitigate risk. That's a specialty service that's provided. So we have one referral and one session with the village with one family that was identified. Period. Wraparound case management are families that are involved in like more of a voluntary process that want to look at strengthening their family unit. They realize that there's family stressors going on and that they're in need of assistance in trying to meet that. Again, it's more of a preventive model. We completed 2 home studies. This can be from requests from other states that are looking to place children maybe with a relative. Those children might be in foster care in another state. And so we received 2 of those types of requests, and we currently have 7 foster care homes that are licensed at the zone level within our service area. So kind of some of the snapshot comments was we have 14 children in foster care. It's one thing to note is that 2 of the relative placements are also county foster homes. So actually our placement with family is a little bit higher than what the numbers reflect. We are low in the number of children in foster care because that could be a result of the pandemic and the decreased market CPS report that we received when the children weren't in care or weren't in the community. With the children in foster care, we often are at about that 17 to 20 range, but we had 5 children already this year that found permanency through adoption. And so typically that takes about 18 to 20 months from the time a family first comes to the system. The court system feels comfortable with moving forward if that's the preferred disposition. All of our team members have been trained in the new safety framework model, which is a new model of practice that was implemented by the state of North Dakota. So that required a week's worth of training for each of our team members that was offered. And they're applying the concepts to active cases. And as they continue to apply the concepts, it's interesting to see how juvenile court will learn the same concepts as well. Juvenile court is also being trained in that practice model, so they know it from the legal perspective, what that looks like. But with any systems change, there, you know, the ripple effect is great. There are more assessments and plans to help develop care plans, which outline why children were unsafe under their care and steps to ensure safety in the future. So the big focus is on what can we do to really measure safety and how can we ensure the safety of those children. And the team has embraced those trainings and they're excited to engage with families. So we have a 4-member team that provides these services to our human service zone. And so that's kind of a summary of the children and family services. The next page highlights our adult services. So this is the program that provides services to the elderly and disabled throughout our service area. It's important to note that in January of 2020, our HCBS case manager, her name is Jessica Nelson, she went to state employment. All HCBS case managers went to state employment on that date as part of the systems change. However, she continues to be located in the zone, so this report doesn't capture her numbers because that's provided as far as state service. But she also serves Trail and Steele counties, meets with the elderly clients that are eligible for the state programs. The numbers that I'm going to mention today are the numbers that we serve with our county administered service, and then the direct care that we provide to the state clients because we're the service provider. So out of our Hillsborough-based office, we serve 58 individuals in the month of March. Out of the family-based office, we serve 16. We also provide program eligibility and like case management for individuals from Cass County. So we serve 70 Cass County citizens. So that isn't with the direct care where an individual is receiving like household assistance or personal care services. That is from the administrative standpoint of determining, do they meet program eligibility requirements? What should their care plan look like? And then Cass County hires their own providers to provide that.
So like, is that for the whole county of Cass County, or is that just reserved?
It is for their locally administered services. So they have HCBS case managers, just like the Jessica that serves our area. And then we have a Tammy, her name is, and she provides that oversight and provides that locally administered service for Trail, Steele, as well as Cass. And we share the position. So that work unit is managed by Tammy Sand. She's our direct services supervisor. And then the other team members are Marilyn Onderud, Tammy Mooney, Jenny Linsa, Tina Johnson, Kathy Mooney, and Christy Parrish. They all provide direct service in the home, everyone from Marilyn through Christy. They can serve the entire service area. So that way, if someone's on vacation, someone else will cover. You know, they certainly have kind of a core area. For example, Maryland typically serves the Buxton, Reynolds, Hillsborough area, because that's kind of where her hub is, but she will certainly go. She's been over in Steele County serving clients before. Tina, most of her day is spent serving Steele County residents, but there's times we have her go over to like the Hatton area. And so it just really depends on constituent need, the number of clients we have, and what the needs of the agency are. So some of the comments provided is everything has been going well. We've lost a few clients, and when that means that they've lost a few clients due to death. But we've also gained with this population, we do see some of our clients pass away each year. Fargo has been busy with the central intake line. So what happened was the state issued a centralized call center. So if individuals are interested in any type of services to the elderly and disabled, they can call a toll-free number and they will help channel them through what provider might be a whole service for them. So we have seen an increase since they put that in place with Fargo-related activity. Tammy did a Teams training with some of the team members of the central intake unit at the state to help them understand what the services Agassiz Valley provides, what clients are our target audience, and they would have a better understanding so we could get appropriate referrals and be able to expand our outreach. We've also started a new documentation system called TheraP. There was federal law changes that required all agencies such as ours to use electronic verification system. So let's say it is Marilyn, and Marilyn is going to see a client to provide service. She uses a smartphone. She will log on to their software. She will log on when she arrives. She will document what services are provided, and then she logs out when the service is complete. So that provides uniform tracking as far as service delivery, provides a documentation, provides the billing units, and so it's all centralized. So that became effective January 2021. And so all of our direct care staff have agency issued cell phones with that approved software on. And then we're also looking at, I've been working with a small group at the state level and Sarah to develop a similar product for our locally administered clients. So we're not toggling and doing two different types of reporting systems, one being paper and the other being electronic. So we're looking at bringing that so we can serve all clients using that same system. So it's been a learning curve, but it's been going well. And we're hoping in the future that we can have it available to all of our clients, because it really does expedite the billing process and as well as ensures a good level of and consistency. The next report is our economic assistance report. And so that gives a snapshot of our economic assistance cases. Probably the biggest change in this, there's been a lot of changes in this unit. The pandemic has certainly impacted the federal rules that apply to many of our assistance programs, as well as a variety of other things. Probably the most substantial change is due to the number of staff we have in this unit. Back in December of 2019, we had 6 team members in this unit. Today we have 3. So our staff is half of what it used to be. And so with that, we have had multiple staff members go to specialty state teams where they're state employees. They're still housed at the zone level, but they are state employees and work for the state of North Dakota. So we have a long-term, those state units are long-term care eligibility. So someone applying for nursing home Medicaid assistance would work with that specialty team, as well as foster care eligibility. So the economic assistance piece that goes with foster care. So I've often been asked the question, like, do we get to add other staff members? The number of positions we have as for all zones is legislatively mandated and capped. Zones currently exceed the number of positions that are authorized, so they are not filling positions real easily. Right now, it looks like our economic assistance team will remain at 3 at this point in time.
Are they able to handle that?
They are able to handle that, but it is a busy unit. They are, if you look at the next handout, I'll just flip you over to that since we're at that section. So it's the second handout. This was a report that was done by the state of North Dakota to look at the number of economic assistance cases using the same methodology of counting cases. So whether they count individuals or households and the same point of time, and use December 2020 as their point of reference. So you will see all 19 zones on this document. And again, this document came from the state. Agassiz Valley averages 331.66 cases per worker per month. That is the highest productivity rate of any zone in the state. So our 3 staff are very busy. They carry the highest productivity rate, but their performance rate is also very high. So I continuously check with them to see how they are doing as far as their capacity, but they are performing very strongly. There are a few other zones that are fairly close to where Agassiz Valley is. Northern Prairie, which is Botno, McHenry, Pierce, is fairly close. And Ward is fairly close. But we're fortunate that we have longevity with our staff, so they're well trained and they're well versed in the program knowledge that they need to be successful and to provide accurate determinations. But for these reasons and others, we work as one, so not one worker is assigned to just Steele versus Trail. They work collectively as a group. So All three workers have cases that originate in Trail. All three workers have cases that originate in Steele. And so they work together as a team. So you can kind of see the snapshot of what caseload numbers are. The reason that there's some blanks like long-term care, that used to be a service that was provided by the zone. Now that's provided by the state. And currently we just don't have any TANF cases. TANF is probably the smallest utilized type of case in the state. There's very restrictive criteria to be eligible for TANF. And there's a lot of hoops to jump through for eligibility. And so with that, typically we will have one, maybe two cases periodically throughout a year, but rarely ever more than that. So it's not unusual not to have any at one point. And so, and then I supervise that team. Our lead worker was Tammy Wilson. Tammy now is on one of the state specialty teams. So since that time, I've overseen the team directly. The next two handouts are also just a snapshot. Most of our reporting gives numbers for the zone versus Trail or a Steele type representation. There are two programs that the state is required to submit county-specific data, and one of those programs is SNAP, which is our food assistance program, and the other one is LOCKEEP, which is fuel assistance. So I provided a point in time, which is for SNAP, it's March 4th. You can see Steele had 32 households receiving SNAP, serving 79 individuals with a total issuance of the month of $16,197 in benefit to the citizens of Steele County. In Trail, we had 203 households. We had 406 persons with a benefit issuance of $85,752. So when you look across the board on that, you will see the number of households is fairly consistent with past. However, the benefit issuance compared to other years, it's up, and that is because of the pandemic. There is an increased benefit that is provided to all of our eligibles. They're giving them what they call maximum benefit plus a bonus. And so the benefit payment rate is much higher than what had been in the past. For LOCKEEP or Fuel Assistance Program, that report is through February 23rd. County 46 is Steele, County 49 is Trail. So you can see with this, the number of individuals receiving fuel assistance in Steele County is 49 as of February 23rd, and in Trail it was 251. And the payment had been $44,481 for Steele. And there was also an additional, we also had some emergency assistance clients, 9 of those that we had served during that period. The interesting thing about fuel assistance, that's considered an annual program. So any individual they can apply between October 1 and May 31st, and they are eligible for the whole period. So this number is not a final number. This is just a point in time as of the date of this report. So this number will grow before the end of the year. And it's amazing actually how many applications we actually get at the end of May, but their benefit is retroactive. So it will go back and pay any type of bill that was incurred. So that's just a summary of some of the board report information. I hope that's kind of helpful for you to see a snapshot of the services that are provided and kind of what our caseloads look like at this point in time. The last sheet in the board report gives a snapshot of our different collaborations. We have, you've already heard me reference that we have collaboration with Cass County. When we collaborate with Cass in a variety of ways. And that was very much a core element of Senate Bill 2124, that zones partner with zones. So at this point in time, Kelly Archambault currently provides economic assistance program services to 71 individuals from Cass. So that is included in our case count. Our direct care supervisor, Tammy Sand, continues to provide care coordination services to the elderly and disabled in the Cass Human Service Zone. She currently serves 70 individuals and works with 10 private providers to provide that service. Our Children and Family Services supervisor, Beth Morrow, provides child protective services supervision to Cass team members. Each of her, every Thursday is dedicated to Cass County. And she staffs cases with them and works with their staff each Thursday as a request at the state office. And so with that, that's kind of a summary of how we partner with Cass County, our Human Service Zone. With foster care licensing, as of December of 2020, we entered into a collaborative with Agassiz Valley, Buffalo Bridges, which is Stutzman and Barnes, as well as Central Prairie, which is Nelson Griggs. And that's a collaborative for foster care licensing. We share a full-time licensing worker. And she serves the 3-zone area. She is based out of Jamestown, but travels frequently to our area to provide their specialty services to individuals. And we have regular meetings with the 3 zones to help gauge progress and service. And we currently have 7 foster homes that are served by that shared position. And we have another foster home that's pending. We have a project called Trail County Community Giving Project. That is a project that's led by 3 key agencies, being Agassiz Valley, Mayville State Child Development Programs, and Seneca, which is Southeastern North Dakota Community Action. And we have various community partners who are appointed to the board as well. And what that is it's a charitable giving organization. We administer 3 key programs, being a back to school project, an emergency assistance program project, as well as holiday project. We have some vacancies on the board and we'll be filling those soon just because we've had some people with employment changes. We serve about 115 students each year with the back to school project. The 2020 Angel Tree served 85 children, 28 disabled, and 39 families. We provided holiday gifts and gift cards that were made possible through charitable giving. And an emergency assistance project, which provides assistance to individuals who are in need of critical assistance in order to provide household stability. And we serve 12 households with that. The Giving Project is a 501c3 organization, and that 501c3 is held through community action, along with the Emergency Advisory Board. Of course, the food pantry is another example of our collaboration. They are also a 501c3 organization. And so, and I know you're well familiar with who the board members are. And so, just as far as an update regarding that, we have invited the food pantry board to the next Agassiz Valley Human Services Board meeting, and we've received confirmation that they will be in attendance. And so, like I said, we partner with them in the delivery of the food pantry. In addition to the food pantry, there's a program called the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which actually isn't a component of the food pantry, rather it's a partnership with community action. So what I call that program is a box and a bag. It's elderly and disabled individuals receive commodity food products that are provided by the state of North Dakota through that collaborative. And they get a box of food and a bag of food, and it comes every other month, and it equates to about, I think it's 65 pounds of food. And so there's shelf-stable items, including even shelf-stable milk, that's available to help individuals that would otherwise slip through the cracks. So it's a very specific eligibility. So we deliver that. It's kind of housed in that food pantry area, but that's actually a different program. And then we have centralized intake. That is a statewide program. So I know Wayne probably has some experience with that. So starting in January, the state of North Dakota launched a toll-free number where reports of child abuse and neglect can be received. And so there's a 14-member team that answers those calls and screens those applications and then gets those reports to the appropriate zone to begin our assessment or investigation process. And so that's a newer collaborative, but it is a statewide collaborative. And those individuals are actually zone employees versus state employees, which is a different approach to our model. And then one other additional thing, with the closure of Lutheran Social Services, Human Services have been asked to take some different responsibilities related to the unmet needs of North Dakotans. And so one of those, an example of one of those additional duties is that I was named the legal guardian of all unaccompanied minor children. So I have an additional 65 children under my guardianship that are here legally, but they fled harsh conditions in their home country and are here legally in North Dakota, and we're here some of these children have been. And so I make all legal decisions for them. So an example right now is that I'm in the process of making determinations of who should be able to get a COVID immunization if they're interested, and who should, based on their age. CDC guidelines. Are there any questions?
Questions for Ken?
Is there a food pantry meeting next year?
To my understanding, there was a food pantry board meeting. I'm not part of that food pantry board, but to my
Is
understanding,
Kelly open to it?
Kelly was here yesterday. He's here today as well.
Any questions for us?
Well, I know last month I was supposed to be here to answer some questions regarding to the COVID reimbursement, and unfortunately I couldn't make the meeting due to a family. I don't know if there's any additional questions on that, or if you want me to do a recap of what led to that, or what might be helpful.
Do you remember when some of them was, whether it was indirect costs or direct costs? Explains.
Absolutely. Human service financing comes in kind of two pots. We have direct costs, which are 100% funded by the state, and we have indirect costs, which with direct costs, we do not have the authority to levy or anything, but with indirect costs, we get a formula payment. And anything exceeding that, we have the authority to levy. When COVID-19 hit, we didn't get real clear guidance at first on how, we just were told we needed to keep track of COVID-related costs. So we did. We got continual guidance throughout the process of what would be considered a direct cost versus what would be an indirect cost. We had some items, it amounted to about $19,000 worth of indirect costs. A lot of that was related to computers that needed to be updated prior to replacement schedule, because we had a lot of desktop computers. So what we did is we transitioned to laptops that would allow us to meet long-term needs, because we also know we're in the community, and laptops would better fit a lot of our needs. And also help meet our needs for telecommuting. Some of it was hand sanitizer, dividers to help if someone comes in the office, to provide a barrier between ourselves and the client, and also supported some of our telecommuting related costs. With that, we had ongoing discussion. In Trail County, I received guidance that we were to just pay that out of the human service zone available funds, using the appropriate fund, until we got to a milestone where reimbursement was received and such. So Trail County opted to reimburse Agassiz Valley the $19,000. During our board discussions of that, there was a motion in a second that Steele would like to contribute, because they felt they received COVID funds as well for related costs. So that motion was made. However, Trail County reimbursed Agassiz Valley, and then it was the follow-up bill that was sent to Steele for the 20%, which was, and that wasn't intended to be levied dollars. The thought behind it was that it was COVID dollars that were provided for COVID relief to help with operations. I think somehow communications kind of broke down, and I think there was some frustration on all parts, and I apologize if that was the case. I did learn from one of the commissioners recently that Steele did reimburse Trail County, which they appreciate. But I want to clarify that at no point did Agassiz Valley exceed our spending authority, nor did we exceed our budgetary approval line item. We stayed within the reimbursement that the state had received. The COVID dollars, we can carry over money in that fund. That's the only fund we can carry for money from year to year. So the idea is that will help prevent property tax, the need to use property tax, because those extraordinary costs with COVID were covered with COVID-related reimbursement.
I think that was our concern, was just some of the things that were done, usually we okay that maybe before it happens. You guys' thoughts? Probably not anything else like that now.
So you know, with Trail being the host county, and they said that they were going to reimburse. I mean, like I said, that was their intent to do it. And so I didn't realize that that was gonna come back to Steele County and be requested from the board. It was made by a motion. And so if I would have known that, I would have approached it differently. But, you know, we had gotten guidance all along just to keep, we submitted our, just so you understand the process, we had submitted all of our COVID related costs. We submit direct related costs to the state. We submitted indirect costs related to the assigned emergency manager. So Ben received our information three or four times. So we submitted all of that, and so it's just payable. Trail County chose to pay it at the end of the year to close out to make sure that we're in good standing.
I'm gonna put a shout out for, Kim and her staff. Just because I'm overly impressed with, I still call them social workers, you can call them investigators or whatever you want to call them. There's social workers to me, they always will be. They added one now, Brooke. Man, she's a fire, Gus is always been awesome, work with, she's the boss, but we have Brooke, which is dictating probably most of our cases. Wow, she is just, she's awesome. And Tammy's good on the other side of the house too, we'll try to deal with her, so you need to keep that team together because they are very, very good to work with, and it's been run out. So kudos to them. It's been run out, and I'm very, very happy, very impressed with. They're there for me every time, middle of the night.
Thank you. I appreciate that feedback because, you know, this type of work is often
Yeah.
relatively thankless, so I will make sure.
Communication is
to share
better
that.
it's ever been, so with those people, so. it's awesome.
Questions? Okay, with that, I appreciate the update on the plan. Communication going.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to serve. I have to say I am very proud of the work that our unit does. And I believe we're providing a high quality service to our citizens. It's not, no one person is, it takes the whole team in order to accomplish. And And so that is one of the goals I have by bringing the police community into the Agassiz Valley Board. I've been asking for rule clarification for probably 8 or 9 months. And so I'm hoping that we can identify some of that because I want to make sure that we maintain our appropriate role. And I think we're respectful of their board of directors, but we need vision and direction from them as well in order to work collaboratively with the different public service. And so we look forward to meeting with them.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll need to take a short recess, so if I can get a motion for recess, we need to do some technical. Motion made by Russell, second by Brandon. All in favor?
Hey, this is
Those of you
Charlie.
online, we're gonna try to, take a break from this recording and get the sound working a little bit better, so. You will be cut off, maybe, just a heads up.
Sam,
and
can you hear me?
Then try to log back on.
Good morning, how's it going?
And warm down the face. Thank you, Ben.
Can anybody there hear me?
Good to see you again.
I'll grab one of those breakfast sandwiches. Oh, I should make some up with it. Croissant sandwich, you get a breakfast sandwich. Our back there, pretty good.
Second guy's station. First one didn't go very well for me. I had a few reactions to it.
That's okay. The nice part though is that we're in the counties, I mean, they can reprint like right. Right, you know. You should get Steele County suspended for you.
Mm-hmm.
It says Steele County. Well, bright orange ones.
No,
Yeah,
I have a pair of bright orange ones.
yeah, it should be bright orange.
There you go. But Steele County Superintendent.
Yeah. Big bright orange one.
That's a good idea.
You need to bring me a shirt today, because we have an auction this weekend, I need to offer something up.
I got some shells here.
Something else.
His wife bought a ticket.
Huh?
His wife bought a ticket for him.
Did you say you had some tickets on? Or just what's that sense?
I gotta go, Chris Johnson,
I have, I got 12 tickets, I gotta find home for you.
you know, you never know, okay.
Right, you find any candy or?
I did.
Oh, we did, you didn't share it, or did you?
Thanks for the work. See you in 2 months.
All right, we'll resume our meeting. Did we get all fixed up?
Think so.
We're back online again. Reconvene at 9:39. Okay, Reed, do you want to start out?
Yeah, we've opened up gravel bids.
Just an FYI, Charlie was logged on during Kim's stuff. He wanted to let you know he's available by phone. If you guys have any needs for him, we can call him.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want to do gravel bids now, or do we want to do Mike stuff so you can go? Are you okay? You got time? Okay. We've got 2 gravel bids, KRB and from Lakeside Construction. I think I'm gonna have you open these up, just because I'm a bidder on there.
This should have our full open up. Read them.
Now on these bids, I don't believe there's any bid bond or nothing, so there's We won't have to watch for them. Are there requirements for insurance? Nothing?
Like always submits that when you do too, everything.
Whoever, do we normally get a certificate when they do haul for us?
Yes,
Okay,
we don't, require it and then bidding, but we do re-ask.
if once they're awarded, they do, give us a certificate, right?
Yep.
They added something that we got that, if they had it done by a certain date.
That's when we award it, we let you guys decide that.
Do you wanna make a copy of the bid spec for all the commissioners? Can we do that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. The sound is much better, it sounds like. So that's positive.
Can I talk a little bit? Okay, the bridge that we closed this in January, that is now all completed, it's out of there. The dirt abutments, or, I mean, you know, so that it's all, and that's all, we've already sent it all out to Brian, so that it's all completed. So. And then, another thing, we've been reclaiming the shoulders and stuff, on all the county roads we did, pulled in the shoulders and stuff, and I think, I don't know, unless we, on the second time over, or third time over since, at least, I'm sure. And then, all the townships that we have all been on once, so forth, except for some of their dirt trails, and stuff, that they wanted to wait just a little bit. Otherwise, and then we have been redecking, and fixing planks and stuff on bridges. Today we just started on, the other one up by Matron Dowlands. We're gonna replank that whole thing, because they're getting to their end. So, that bridge there is 24 feet wide by 24 feet long.
Do you tear off the old and then put new on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are the bids.
And then,
Yep.
so, and, we'll be putting in, the paper too for our summer help now. To hire two for summer help and stuff, that'll go in the paper now. I'd say maybe in a week or so, so that the kids from school and stuff. Then we are also on our summer hours now.
When did that start?
What's that?
When did your summer hours start?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah. That's the way we always do it. And, this year, I mean, I don't have to make that decision now, I just would like for you guys to look at it, later, when courthouse goes to their, summer hours, then we would be done at noon also on, from the Memorial Day to Labor Day, like they would be, and consider that for us.
What did we do last year?
We're done at 3.
We did it, we were done at 3 last year.
Yeah.
You had said last year that we would take a look at it, see how the year went, and then call.
Yeah.
Review it again.
So. Another thing that I'd like to look at is, our, township leading, we're at $95 an hour now. I'd like to raise that $5 to $100 for, blading because of, the increase and stuff on the cutting edges and feel and the strength of the machine. Snow removal for winter time, our rate was at 100, I'd like to go to 105. So it would be just increasing each one $5.
And did you talk to your townships about that?
Yeah, and I told them that, they said, yeah,
Okay.
they agreed with it. I mean, well,
So I guess we would be looking to, would we wanna start that, we wanted to do that right away.
I'd like to do that right away for building, and that's why I needed to get approval from you guys on that.
So I guess we would be, if there's any other questions on that, we should ask. If not, we would probably need a motion to go to $100 an hour for blading and $105 an hour for snow. Reference, we charge $105 an hour straight across the board, just so you guys know. And I think Flayton, how much was Flayton over Mayville?
Wayne Johnson is 105 to 110.
I had sent Ben and Reed to the kind of across the state what the rates are too, and we were fairly low on that.
Yeah.
I think the average is statewide, we're pretty low, I think the average for around 100, 145, 150 the volt. That's also statewide, I think the surrounding region, where we were at around 95, 100, we're still just under, I think our around, also right around that 105 mark.
We have 5 towns.
So it's
Six. Each machine, each person has, 2 townships.
In my opinion, it'd be a good to raise that up to 100 for blading, 105 for snow. I'd be for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys wanna do that for starting billing next month, so the stuff they do this month?
Start May, well, we need a motion. We can include that in the motion. I would like to see it start May 1st.
Cause we're always just for your guys' reference, we're always a month behind on our billing, so what we do in May, we bill out in June, right away. Just- okay.
Well, can we make it a 105 for blading and snowplow both?
We sure can.
And keep it,
Easy.
easy, yeah.
That's what mine is straight across the board. Some split it, do snow, cause snow's a little tougher, but. Is that a motion, Russ?
Yeah, I'll make that a motion.
That's a motion for $105 an hour straight across the board. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's a second by Ted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
So we'll go 105 across the board.
Okay. And then we'll go back to our bids, I guess.
Okay, so our bidding, we did, remind me, did we do 32 miles or 34 miles? We
Yeah.
bid out 32?
Very good.
32 miles, we bid it from Sibley and Fordville gravel pits. We have counter of 12, 10, 9, 1, 16, and 20 on there, plus we also have prices picked up at the pit in Sibley and in Fordville. Also, at local pits.
Looks like KRV isn't picking up anything at Fortville.
They are not.
Why is that?
They don't have a pit in Fordville.
Well, yeah, your baby got it. But...
I have one in Fordville.
Oh,
They don't have a pit in Fordville.
oh, okay.
Say something real quick.
Yep.
So I just did a brief, review on it real quick when we were talking. It's kind of how we thought it would look like, or Reed and I were discussing it. It looks like in the end, Lakeside would wind up getting lower bid on 12, 16, and 20. And then, KRV is a lower bid on 10, 9, and 1. So it's kind of how we
had thought of it anyways, how it would go. I don't know to you guys on what you wanna do, but we normally just accept the bids and refer them back to myself and Reed for review and bring it to your guys' main meeting. If you guys want, you can definitely award it now, we can go through that process. My recommendation and Reed's would be to, just accept both bids and give it to both of us for review and present it at your next meeting.
Any other questions on the bids before we do that?
I'll make a motion to accept this.
Motion made by Brian, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brandon, all in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Motion carried. What else do you have, Reed? Do you wanna inform the board, when the blade will be, or the new blade will be in?
May. The date that I've got so far is sometime in May. And stuff. That's as far as I know, what he's got nailed down. And then I suppose it'd be, switching out the tractor, that sometime in the first part of August. You know, the John Deere tractor lease, that gets switched out in August sometime, so.
Have you heard anything, is the price the same for this year? Same in price?
Same,
Okay.
yeah, that got locked in a year or so ago.
Yeah, it's good for the biennium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So. Just, that's all I have.
You said before you were looking for summer help.
Yep.
We didn't have no summer help last year.
No, that's because of the
Summer help
COVID.
now.
Because of the COVID, Trail County did not hire any extra help neither last year because of the COVID. So that's why we didn't want anybody else extra into our environment, coming from any place. So I think we're past that point now. They'll still have to go through the drug test. I mean, it's all free, and it gotta be the age of 18 or older. Now, because in 2019, that, you know, we used to be able to hire people 16 years of age, and it got changed in 2019 where they did a child labor law. Somebody must have got hurt somehow that or something, so that's changed now. So they have to be at the age of 18 to run any weed whacker even. So.
So what are you looking at, 2, 3?
Just two.
Two?
Just two. And then Ethan, that's why Ethan will be in charge of them, like for crack sealing and stuff and you know, weed whacking around bridges and stuff and so, and they'll probably even, since when this, how the summer goes, I've already got my material and stuff for crack sealing, and stuff, so we'll be looking at doing that.
Are you doing any drain tiling? We talked about this last year, are you gonna do any drain tiling on the roads?
Wait over, you know, at least like on County Road 8 there, where them bumps are, and stuff. And, what I'm thinking is we'd run down along the shoulder, down the hill, or maybe like even if you went from the top and did a drain pipe down through the middle, you know, going down the hill. And to relieve the pressure on the road. That you try.
Well, I think we were all in agreement last year, we
Yeah.
wanna do that road for sure,
Yeah.
trial, so let's make sure we do that this year.
Yeah. I already have the stuff to do it now, though. I bought that last year, so it won't take us long to do that. Let you try it anyway.
Yeah. Can't hurt.
Yep.
Can I ask you, you thinking we're putting drains out both sides of the road?
Like we started on the one side and then angled through, at an angle from, you know, you gotta have an open end and an open end. Right? Cause you would, Otherwise it won't feed properly if you just put it, start in the ground.
Do you have a recommendation, Mike, how the other counties are doing it?
Most counties that we've seen do this, they plow right down the middle of the road, and then when they get to a low point, they put a cross in.
Oh,
and put
gee.
outlet pipes.
So there. Okay,
Depending on which side of the water we're draining to, it's either a cross or a T, but most of them we see going right down the middle of the road, and they've had really good success with that. Of course, it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of blading to get your road back after you do that. But
right,
it seems within the first, even the first year, depending on how wet it is, it works pretty well, but if you try and angle and make that one pipe and outlet, it gets to be a little difficult to try to
okay.
fashion that, but just what we've seen be pretty successful. I think Richmond County's gonna do 25 miles in this year.
I like his idea myself.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And they've been doing
Yeah.
it in Minnesota, a couple Minnesota counties for, and
But that way we get it to drain, and then it'll drain, that's your air for, yeah, okay.
every time you get to a low point, you just put on what's
If you got any questions, maybe you could
Yeah.
reference back to Mike on that.
I will.
Okay, thanks for updating us on that as well. Next, we probably, Mike, you wanna update us, or?
Yep.
You got going on?
Reason I came up today was just to talk about County Road 11. If you recall, the plan for County Road 11 was to use federal aid funding for an asphalt overlay next year in 2022. So we have paperwork together for that to send the first information that they need into the state here shortly. And the intention is to keep that on the November bid letting, so that it helps with the DOT to be able to use up this year's funding and be prepared and ready for next year. So last time I was here, what we talked about is we talked about the culvert service road. Just to recap that just a little bit, that road was last overlaid in 1999, so it's been over 20 years since you've done major rehabilitation to that asphalt surface. The records that we find, it was somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s was the last time that road was regraded. And there's some question of whether the culverts were entirely replaced at that point, or if they're simply lengthened. So that would tell me that all your culverts through that road are at least 50 years old. So we inventoried those culverts, and there's 17 centerline culverts. There are 3 of them that are larger than 24-inch. Other than that, most of them are 18s and 24s. So just wanted to circle back to you guys, and you talked about doing some culverts this summer so that you could get them to settle over the winter and be prepared for that paving next year. I don't know that we ever decided how many you're interested in doing. My thought process is those 18 and 24s from the ones that we've looked at are still all open. Now, they're certainly very rusty, but they're open, and there's none of them have completely rusted out. So I don't know how much money you want to put into this. If you want to wholesale replace all 17 culverts, or if you're just looking to replace the large ones and then deal with the small ones down the road. You have to cut the asphalt in the future when problems appear. Now, obviously, it's a fairly large financial investment to do all of those culverts over that 9 miles of road.
What are, if we could set up a site meeting, us two come out and maybe a couple commissioners and just go around, look at some of the culverts.
Okay.
And then, just see how bad a shape they really are. I mean, your reports are good and everything, but it's kind of nice to have eyes on sometimes.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, and that's just, I'm just checking in to make sure that it gets, gets on the schedule if you're gonna do it this summer, because there are 2 large culverts for sure that, we definitely really should.
How big are those?
There's that 60-inch culvert that's just east of Highway 32. The problem with that culvert, pavement's all busted out around it, but there's very little cover over that. What we'd actually recommend is replacing that with an arch pipe, trying to get that culvert down a little bit so that you can get some more cover over it and hopefully save the pavement just a little bit. I think this next one is, let me look at the map so I get it right.
How long was that 60-inch?
That is about 50 feet long.
Okay.
With no cover over it, it's not very long. The next one would be 3.5 miles east of State Highway 32, and that's a 42-inch culvert. It's about 70 feet long right now, and it's definitely too short. It's those slopes are pretty steep, so I would say you're going to want to add at least 10 to that. looking at it from a hydraulic sizing standpoint, with the amount of watershed that that has, we'd actually recommend making that larger. We'd say make that a 48 inch, just a little bit larger, just so that, we can give you a hydraulic study and have you on record as meeting the state stream crossing standards for that.
How are we on right of ways out there?
Haven't checked into the right way. Certainly can, but haven't. And would not at all surprise me if you've got your statutory 33 feet on either side. There's a lot of these county roads that, even though they purchased right away, or obtained right away when they first got constructed, doesn't mean it's always well recorded.
What are
You can certainly make that.
What are your guys' thoughts? I'd like to see them checking their right of ways on that. Just to,
Make sure you're within your right of way when you do the
Yeah.
work.
plus to see how close people are farming up to it. Just, you know, if there's right on the edge, you know, it hurts the road base. I'd like to see,
Yeah, there's absolutely areas out there where the farm curves.
You drive around and look at some of these county roads, they're right up to the edge.
That particular one is in very bad shape. The bottom of that culvert's just completely gone.
okay.
For telling.
Sorry about jumping ahead there.
And then the last one, is in a fairly deep ravine. And it would be another 1.75 miles east of that particular one.
It's west of the bridge.
Yep.
Is that Donna Bush farm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just very fast back.
That one is an existing 48 inch culvert, and the farmers on both sides of that have recently done some ditching to clean out their ditches on either side of that. And it appears at some point somebody lengthened those culverts. So that thing's about 100 feet long right now, and it's in a really deep ravine. So to replace that one, obviously at least a 48 inch culvert size at 100 foot long.
Hmm.
That's gonna be
I remember.
at least the cost.
I think I remember doing some stuff out there one time. It was washing.
So the ends of the culverts obviously look good. Haven't crawled into it, but my guess would be is the middle part underneath the road is probably not a whole lot better than anything else.
Okay.
So there's no evidence in the pavement surface that it was ever replaced.
You have a map of the culverts, I think.
I gave you guys maps last time, but I can certainly send you the ones too. If I didn't bring extra copies, I just got one.
That's fine.
Which has got some purpose on it, but I'll do that. I'll send you a copy of my hydraulic study and some maps by email
Okay.
tomorrow, probably, just so that you have that information too. And then if you guys would like to go out and look at some of the stuff, just let me know. I think that's a great idea.
I'd like to go out there with it. Who else wants to go out there as far as commissioner? Should have one more. I'll go. Okay.
That culvert you're talking about there, Mike, they just cleaned that out last fall.
Yep.
So.
We got roller dude.
That should put it in the fund.
Yeah, which is great. There are a couple of these culverts that we looked in because at least two of them that I recall, which can't find the ends of them.
Good.
So obviously they're either water seeping through the dirt, blocking them, or they're not draining at all anymore. I don't know where I know they're in application anymore. But that'd be something I'll look at.
Let's set up a time, and we'll go out there and
Okay, so I'll just
try to look on.
Good.
Good. Good.
What would we be looking at as the cost to replace all the culverts along there?
That's good.
You know, and we talked about cost last time too.
Thank you.
You're talking about the cost of replacing them all?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I gave you an estimate cost last time, and I guess I didn't bring that with me today, so I apologize for that.
That's in that whole big packet you gave us last time.
Yep, did that, I forgot to bring on it. I mean, you're talking, oh, quite a bit of money for 17 culverts, but some of these are pretty long. Some of these are fairly deep ravines, so.
Well, maybe we can take and, we'll go inspect them all. And then we'll get the size, and then Reed can take and get prices on all the culverts. So we know with all 17, and then we can go down from there.
Just kind of drill down and see what the cost is. Maybe just.
So they are old, 50.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't pave roads here too often. It'd be really good if we could afford to redo them all. But
Yep, yeah, that's the problem, and you just, that isn't gonna be a cheap overlay on this particular road either. What we're recommending is a skim mill, 3-inch overlay, just because the condition of this road is not so great anymore. There's a lot of pretty rough areas, so
With that,
we have to get some structure on it.
with that, are we gonna have shoulder issues with the road being too high?
No, I don't think this one's too bad.
How much are you gonna road a mill off?
You know, we tell them 3/4 to an inch to mill off. It's nice to get that, silk board oil off to put back into the recycled asphalt pavement.
And then you put 3 inches back on?
3 inches back on and 2 liters mill. Same thing we did to County Road 5 a number of years ago.
Are we gonna put gravel on the shoulder then too, or?
But usually we've got a little shoulder prep detail that we use.
Yeah.
So basically we knock out a notch on that side and then you skip some gravel in just so that you have something solid to put those swaps on. So with the intention of getting your 24-foot width back on it.
Okay.
That's really about all you can do without messing with the shoulders, which obviously it's expensive fast.
Did you have a rough estimate of what that was gonna cost us? What your estimate was?
For the pavement, I do not yet.
Okay.
We've been kind of watching asphalt prices this spring just to see, and actually interestingly, even though the price of oil was up, asphalt prices seem to be holding fairly steady, which is interesting.
I think crude's been coming back down again now. I'm surprised.
Well, that can be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing too.
Yeah.
There's some predictions out there that the prairie dog funding, the buckets will actually fill this next biennium, so. In some ways, you want the oil price to stay up because then you get the funding, but if the oil prices stay up, then it's more expensive to do the projects too, so.
Okay. Anybody else have questions on County Road 11 for Mike?
I think that's, we gotta go through that and look at the color. I think that's gets my eyes on it. Nobody wants to have to go back in and cut them.
Absolutely.
So when we would put those culverts in, Reed and I were talking, Reed was talking about putting pavement back in those spots when we're done with it. Would you recommend that, or would we get by with just gravel for the year?
It'd be nice to be able to just get away with gravel over the course of the year because it saves you some money. But it is, I understand the concern.
His
too.
concern was with the blade, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, what I think you could probably do there, knowing that you've got, you know, 2 different opportunities to have a paving crew close. They're doing, street rehabilitation and Hope, which was bid last week, week before, so I don't even know who that contractor is yet, but.
Bituminous, I think.
Bituminous, okay, and then they're also doing, Highway 6 doing Highway 32 out here, so if you have a paving company close, I guess my thought was, is just put a couple inches on. Just enough to get it smooth for the purposes of the winter, and then next spring cut it out and patch it that way.
So we could also get prices for that. We'd get prices for putting a couple inches of pavement in there. So we could decide if we wanna do that, or say if we wanna try to skimp by and just put a motor grader on that road to clean snow next year. You know, just depending on how much it's gonna cost us, that's all I'm bringing up. Whether or not we clean with a motor grader instead of a truck plow.
So I think the state highway 32 project is bid in April here. So it's a buyer meeting. That's gonna be slowly the big surprises from whoever's happens to be doing those 2 projects that just most cost effective to do exactly those.
Any other questions?
32 going through town here. Yeah. How far apart is it? But there's another piece that's being bid separately that goes west of it too. But,
It goes all the way to 15?
wow.
That's in that immaculate corner, right?
Yep. Because it was breaking up right till we had it there last year on them, so that's what. And then it got redone north of that.
That's going probably all south too, Mike?
I think so. It's been a while since I've looked at that, but I know we were selected to do the construction engineering on it. I should know that off the top of my head, but it's been 2 months now since we looked at that. So.
Well, that's about where they started. The last year, the year before, when they went from 5 miles south to Hope.
Yeah.
And then last year, they went from Hope Golf Course to all the way to Interstate.
But I will give you a call, Richard, when.
Yeah, and then we'll get together with everybody and we'll see what's the best day.
It's all a great plan, so.
Okay.
That's all I have, just what I want to update on and see if we can, get that accomplished this summer, so you're set ready for paving next year.
All right, well, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Reed.
I have that certification he wanted. We probably don't. From KLJ,
All for the,
that you said, yeah, for the meeting.
so that's just a certification that we're done, we approve, we're all set with the box over on 7th.
7. Okay. That's finalized, everything's done up there?
Yep. That's good.
Thank you.
The whole thing needs to go to you guys. Richard needs to sign all of it. Control all this? Yeah.
Is it same?
What's that, Ben?
My EMPG stuff, it goes along with the quarterly reports, so that's the time cards for my grant. So, every quarter we have those signed by the chair, so I just need those signed by Richard.
All of them, all of them?
All three of them, yeah.
Today's date, fine, or?
Yeah, that's fine. What will do? This is April 6th.
What?
You decided.
Yeah, all three.
Okay.
All of them?
You look at them all?
Yep. I did.
So I guess I'll just get started. While you guys are doing that, I sent out my quarterly report for the grants. There's 2 of them that's going around. We still haven't had federal funding on the other, ones that we received yet. So we're still waiting on those, but, do you have any questions on the EMPG or the EMPG supplemental reports that were sent out? Have more for information purposes for you guys, but happy to answer any questions. Not, the burn ban declaration was the next piece. As you guys know, it's been a little dry. We haven't had any rain, any really moisture that we really need. So what was sent to you guys is everything that we've done, previously. In the previous years, we've tied to the fire index, so every day that gets changed from, as soon as it needs to be till about November, October. November maybe. So what we've done was always tied it to the fire index, to give farmers the chance to be able to burn and to have some flexibility there. We've always gone a little higher. So the way the fire index works is we have low, moderate, high, very high, extreme, and then a red flag warnings. We've seen more red flag warnings in the last 2 weeks than I've seen my entire career here. In that 2-week time frame, it's nuts, crazy how much we've had lately. So last week, what we did, back when I had a conversation about it, and I talked to the fire chief, and everyone was in favor, we had Richard sign a burn ban declaration for the whole week. So as a chairman underneath Century Code, he's allowed to do that for the entire week. And then it comes to you guys for further review if you guys want to proceed with it or what you want to do. After talking with Wayne this morning and talking with the fire chiefs, we're gonna need to do something more. We're kind of at that point where we need to get some rain, we need to get some moisture, and unless we have that, we're going to be some pretty nasty burns coming through. The recommendation to you guys originally was to tie it to the fire index and that extreme and red flag warnings again, to be able to allow farmers that opportunity to be able to burn. I have a new recommendation for you guys, that we tie it to the fire index as well, but we do it in high, very high, extreme, and red flag. So basically the only time that people are allowed to burn are in low and moderate. And then when we're in high, very high, extreme, and red flag, that would be no burning at all, not even campfires. So I will redo the deck, depending on what you guys decide you wanna do. I can redo the deck for declaration and get that for you to sign. But that'd be the recommendation going forward.
So that would be, if we made that, that would be forever
That would be through November first is what it's listed at,
for this year
for
only?
this year only.
Okay.
Yeah, we review it every year, and it's good to review every year.
Yeah.
Just because times change. Last year, we did it May first. We didn't really have any bad weather until critical fire weather until May first, until around that May timeframe. That's normally our timeframe to do it. But with this year, it's start getting bad fire weather in March. Not looking so.
So Ben's looking for a motion that we change our no fires. Is there a motion out there?
So move.
And
It'll
you're,
rain the next 2 days.
It's
It's supposed to be a temp for the next 3 days.
But
Temp is not gonna stop anything.
it's perfect.
So,
so you're,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say with the rain, what this does is this. There's been a lot of stuff in legislature and we've had to review a lot of that stuff, but this allows for. This ties everything to the fire index, so it changes daily. So if tomorrow we end up getting half inch of rain, thank God, then we'd be in the low. So if farmers wanted to burn, they definitely could burn.
So they can only burn if it's low
If it's
and
low,
medium,
low or moderate.
low and moderate, okay?
So where is this information posted?
It's on, IndyResponse.gov is the main website where we direct everybody to go to. That's on the US Fire Wildland Service website as well. We post it in our, on our website, we'll put it on Facebook, we'll put it in the paper, where they can go and get all this stuff.
Okay, so Ted, is that your motion to what Ben recommended?
Yes, that was motion.
We have a motion made by Ken, and there's recommendations by Ben. Do we have a second?
So,
Second by Russell, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, question. You can update that, Ben, do the sign now?
Yep.
The fire department?
Yep.
So you can do it yourself, so you don't have to keep calling Lori to
Correct.
update it daily or whatever you have to do.
No, and so with the.
It's changed or whatever.
Yep, so what we'll wind up doing is, when we haven't really worked through specific on how we're gonna do that, but if we're in, if the burn ban is on, we'll put something out there saying that it's on, if it's off, we'll take it off.
Yeah.
And that's something, it's like literally a click of a button, we just select it,
Oh.
deselect it, once we get it in there. Setting it up is the hard part, after that, it's 2 seconds.
So it looks nice that that sign doesn't, big red letters burning down on, you know? Really stand out compared to that little.
Does that burn ban, does that
old sign.
also, sorry, does that burn ban also for like people burning garbages at home?
It's everything, check out,
Okay.
everything to
Burning hamburgers in the grill.
go around that. If you're burning hamburgers on the grill, I'll end it over that conversation.
So like on our Facebook page and, website, maybe we should explain some of that. I mean,
Yep, and I'll definitely do that. It's a little change from what we've, for the last few years, we've been tying it to the fire index, but we've always done it in those more extreme weather conditions, because we've always had the moisture coming from spring too, to allow us to be able to do some of that, but now we had no moisture.
There's none.
All right, what's next, Ben?
The emergence program, so that was something that I sent out to you guys. I was, nominated, I guess is the right word to say it, to submit an application for, this program through the Center for Homeland Defense and Security, based out of Monterey, California. There's so many acronyms. Tuition and stay and travel and all that stuff is all covered by FEMA. That's kind of a big nomination, honestly. There's only 2 in the state of North Dakota that got nominated. I was the only emergency manager to be nominated. Basically, we were nominated by a state rep who I work pretty closely with through all this stuff. Well, kind of a big deal. I have to, if you guys are okay with it, I have to submit an application. There's no, I might not be accepted into the program, but basically it's a 6-month program. Most of it's done online, so it'll be done probably during work hours. And then and then some outside of work hours too, but there's 2 weeks where you have to travel out to Monterey. And again, FEMA pays for all of it. There's nothing that comes out of my budget. The only thing that, why I gotta talk to you guys about it is because that's a legal way.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I think our board is very concerned about your workload. I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about it as well. The 911 position is, we want to visit with that as well, I guess. So would that be a good time now to bring that up as well? You guys want to do that now?
What do you need from us on this emergency?
Basically, no, I don't really need a formal motion or anything. I just think if you guys are cool with me going,
When do you think you're gonna do that for me?
it'll be next year. So it'll be 1 week in March and then 1 week in June next year.
Of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. I guess in my opinion, if you have time to go there and your schedule allows it and you don't get behind anything else, I'm okay with it.
Appreciate that. And that's obviously,
But we're very concerned about your workload,
understand.
very concerned.
Appreciate it.
How is your wife?
She's excited about it, actually.
You're gone for a week?
Well, she was excited that I was nominated for the program. It's a pretty, I mean, it's a big deal. In my field, it's a pretty big deal. Not everybody gets to go to this. And being nominated doesn't mean you get to go either. You still have to go through the application process. It's just, it's nice being nominated.
No, congrats on that, and like Richard said. You're working and you're having duties here, don't get neglected. Or you're not dude.
Just, we're your workload, we're very concerned. I want to make sure that's very clear.
I understand.
Okay? Anybody else? Ted or Brian, you got any other comments? Ted? Okay. What else you got?
That's the only thing going 911. That's all I have.
Okay. We talked earlier about the 911 position. We voted to hire you for 911. We are very concerned about your workload. Carly also applied for it. We think Carly would be very good at it. She would have training to do. We know that it really ties in well to your position you have now. But we don't want to lose Carly. We want Carly to have enough work around here as well, but we want to do a trial run, I think is what we kind of talked with you, like 3 to 6 months probation. We know we understand that it all ties into you very well, but we would like to offer that position to you. We kind of were talking on wage though, that we didn't want to start out at 1,300. We shot numbers around at $800 a month to start out at. Am I missing anything else, you guys?
No, it's all good. That was it.
So do you want to think about that? Or do you have any comments you want to say?
Well, I appreciate the offer. That's great to hear. Like you said before, it ties everything very well. A lot of the stuff that is part of that position is stuff that we do.
Let me say one more thing. We're at that 800, I'm sorry. We want to start that to see if that's doable. If it looks like you're spending more time than we think you will need to be spending, we will go up to that 1,300. I assume is what our plans are, but we want to start out at 800 and we'll see how that works. So.
Yeah, I guess I accept. Appreciate it. Appreciate the full confidence and.
Well, we appreciate everything you do for the county, but our biggest concern, Ben, is, and you need to know this, is your workload. We're very concerned about that. I mean, you can keep taking stuff on, but if things get neglected, it's not good. Other people in the courthouse, we worry about them as, we want to keep them in the courthouse as well, but we just want to make sure you're aware of that.
I appreciate that.
So, thank you again. And if you feel like the workload is getting over, there's some other avenues where if you need to give something up, say the road department or something, please let us know so we I mean, there's maybe other people in the courthouse that are willing to take some of those, jobs on. Okay?
Those wages were starting now, April first. And you did get the 13.5 for March. Okay. Well,
Okay.
I was right on that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else? Is there any update on that County Road 5 FEMA stuff that, is it kind of limbo still?
Yep, we won't hear anything back till October, more
Okay.
likely.
Okay.
At the earliest.
Okay.
They're pretty slow. Every time I call them on other stuff, they, complain about how short-staffed they are and how much turnover they have, and it's complaints we hear from them for everything, so.
Okay.
Generator stuff too, that. Still waiting on a lot of that stuff, so we actually, so the generator and the shelters are funded through our disaster funding. So every time the state declares a disaster and it gets approved presidentially, it opens up a pot of money. We usually don't see that until about 6 months to a year after the declared disaster. So just 2 weeks ago, I believe, the state just received their disaster money from the 2019 flood. So it took a little longer this go around.
When you say shelters out for Gold Lake?
Yeah.
So when would we be, that's a reimbursement, correct?
Yep, they're all reimbursed.
When would that be reimbursed?
As soon as we spend the money and apply for the thing.
We'd be reimbursed right away?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you were in there, but I did drive into Larimore Dam and there was one there. I didn't know they had one there, but
Oh, yeah.
it was nice to see there. They only had, this much dirt on the side. To me, it needs to be to hold it in place for a tornado, but I think I'd like to see us add more dirt. Just, if I'm gonna be in that thing in a tornado, that little bit of dirt ain't.
Morton County, when they did theirs, that was their recommendation too, was to add a little bit more. So Morton County and Grand Forks County did theirs at the same time, and they went by the specs of what was given to them. Because at that time, they were the first two in the state to really do a big project like that. They had multiple, so Grand Forks County had 4 or 5, Morton County had at least 3. So they were the first two, and then after they installed them, they're like, okay, we need to go, Morton County said, we need to go back and do this. So that was their recommendation when they came, let's go back and fix this up a little bit.
We're gonna look at our ownership at the lake on the north end by where the boat trailers are parked and stuff to see if we actually own that, if we can actually put one there.
Sure.
So it'd be that location on the west side, we're kind of looking at over by the pavilion somewhere.
Okay. Unless you guys figure all that stuff out.
I believe it's under the, I had Amy look, it's under the county park board right now, so I believe it's that lease with Game and Fish.
I don't think it is north of the
No?
store. I think that's Peter Bowles.
I always thought there was something up there that was owned by someone else.
It's either owned by them or they deeded it to us, or I'm not sure how it went down, but it's north of the store.
Where the campers are,
Yep.
north of the campers even.
No, it'd be right
There.
where the road, when you drive right into the lake,
Okay,
right there going north.
I thought it was more up by the unloading ramp and stuff, but I don't remember.
Pretty sure it's when you first drive into the lake, everything,
It's where the campers are,
because he owns the land actually right next to the road. So I think it correlates with that, but we'll have to do some checking on that.
So to kind of basically summarize it, those two, we're hoping to get some more information on pretty soon, because those were funded underneath that grant program. But they just got their funding, like I said, 2 weeks ago, so they got to go through at the state level, so we're hoping here fairly soon, we should have some better information on it.
Okay.
Cool. And then this time, I think in the next month or two, we should get the 2020 flood funding as well from FEMA for this grant stuff, so whatever's not funded under this current one will be funded under the next one.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else? Any other questions for Ben? Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Remember, if you have any issues on this, please get back to us.
Has the vice been doing any work down there in County Road 5 or no?
Just the initial stuff. Oh, I have a book for you, by the way. Just the initial.
Stuff he's done earlier.
Yeah.
He hasn't done nothing now.
No, once we submitted the application, end of it is done at this point. Unless FEMA engineers have questions and they haven't sent anything yet. Oh, okay, so we don't expect, we really don't expect them to hear anything, we don't expect to hear anything from them until at the earliest July for questions, as far as that goes. And after that, we don't expect an actual decision until, I'm gonna say November, but they say October at the earliest.
Do you want Gary to come in, since we kind of skipped over her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next or not?
Gary next, yep, and then I'd like to talk to Carly too, so, but maybe,
Okay.
while we're waiting for Carrie, thanks, Ben.
I gotta be here for Catherine's.
Oh, what time is Catherine's? 10:15. Okay, one thing I'm gonna bring up real quick, we're gonna put Carrie right in front of you, I think, is that all right? Carrie should be pretty, we're just got a quick.
She'll be quick. We
5-minute
skipped
deal.
over her earlier.
At our annual township meeting, I went to that and I presented everything that we talked about to everybody at the meeting. But there was only 11 people that they had for there. They needed 20 people to have a quorum, so they could not vote on anything, do any official business. So, they were wondering whether or not they should have 2 meetings a year or just a one, since there's low attendance. I think they're gonna try another meeting in November, the way it sounds, and hopefully more people will come. So,
Like Wayne Beckman was talking, we have to have food to get the people to come, you know? But, you know, like Wayne said too, about the township, that everybody's got a job now. They can't take off a half a day to come do this, you know, and that's what they're doing, you know?
and maybe that, and then also maybe with COVID,
Yeah.
Yeah, things are different now this last year, complete.
Oh,
there is, you know. But back, I think it was 2 years ago that in Hope, it was packed solid, and they were out in the other room even, and there was common rolls there.
Yeah.
Okay, Carrie, we just wanted you to come and give us a little update or see how things are going in your office, if you had any issues or,
I don't have any issues.
okay?
I printed out, our daily cash balance for the end of March, along with a list of what CDs we have and how much is in them and their maturity dates. Just doing that's it.
How's things going with the courthouse closed? People still, taxes being paid?
I just checked and right now there's like 89% says paid for 2020.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Better.
Is it, how is that compared to previous years? Do you know, or
It's pretty average.
pretty average?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Most people pay by March normally.
Everything's going well in your office?
Yeah,
Any issues?
no. You guys have any questions for me? A lot of these CDs mature twice a year, and there's only one or two that don't mature once a year.
11-12% of
No.
What are you getting?
Right now, it's like, I think 0.4%. It goes up and down all the time.
Well, in Bartlett, it's a different story.
Yeah. It was doing really well the last year or two, and it just, the interest went back down again recently.
I think just, I'll bring up our ongoing conversations on where to put money.
Yeah.
Always, there's these Catherine programs and Ben programs and grants and all that. We're not really up to date ever on what's going on or when we're getting money or what we're getting or what it's for or any of that. Carrie just gets money. And then she's like, what do you want me to do with this money? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know what this money came in for. So then we try to figure out who it came for and what it was for or where it was paid from, those things. So I don't know. I was kind of obviously yesterday. I copied you in, just so you're in the loop, but I just think I'm gonna have to think of a better way that we can keep track of this stuff and keep track of what is coming and going. You know, first off, just to make sure we are getting the funds we should get, but also that we're putting it back to where we're taking from for reimbursable items like that and whatnot. And it'll make Carrie's job easier and it'll make mine easier and hopefully Ben and Catherine also.
So that's like a department head, they should they need to be communicating with you
Just-
guys.
Right, more communication.
Yeah, there's a question where the money's coming from.
Well, that's the thing is it always comes back to me. So, I mean, I try not to hound Ben and Catherine and stuff for things, but in the end, I need to be able to explain why we got this or where we got this or how much we have.
A quick email would really help.
Yeah. So,
Like you're supposed to get 25,000 and you just got a check for 15,000.
we have no idea. Yeah.
So you don't know where the other 10 is coming, I suppose, and all this too, huh?
Yeah. And she doesn't know where to put it, and I don't know where to tell her to put it, you know, so.
And if I put it in the wrong spot, it's kind of a pain to move it around.
Oh,
again.
transferring and adjusting our fund balances and stuff, that's a nightmare with this program. So,
Well, let's send an email out to the department heads, reminding them to help you guys out. And I guess if that isn't enough, we can bring them in here and talk to them too.
we'll work on it.
How's that sound?
I was thinking another spreadsheet would be a great idea, but.
Why not? One question I have on these CDs that, are all the banks the same on CDs? Does some give better money?
The Dakota Heritage Bank seems to have quite a higher interest rate than everyone else.
Okay,
That's the same with the savings account too. We get a lot more money of interest from them than that is.
and that bank is in Hope, right?
Yeah.
And how about the First United Bank?
They're not very good.
What bank, they're in Hope? I don't.
That one's in
Sharon.
Sure.
Oh, that's sure.
Yeah, gotcha. So is there any certain way that we've always done it before in the past, how much money we put in each CD at each bank? Or we just, how do you do that?
These are the same CDs that we've had since I started working here, and
Okay.
nothing's ever changed. And we've never cashed any out or added any more.
Okay,
So the interest is going back into the.
What's interest goes into an interest fund. Although, a lot of these CDs started out with just a flat amount of money, like that one that says 150.
how much?
150 under Dakota.
150,000.
Okay,
They used to give us checks for the interest,
okay,
but now a lot of them have started putting it back into the CD instead of
Okay.
doing that.
and that works all right for your
Yeah,
auditing?
yeah, it's actually better.
Okay,
What's the term on this CD, a year,
Most of them are 6 months.
months, and then they just.
Yeah,
so would it be beneficial for us to moving his money around after they mature to different banks? I mean, I think we still wanna do it all three banks, but
right.
say, the dollar amount difference, would we benefit to switch it around to other banks to get a better dollar value, return?
You say you haven't touched any of that money in the CDs,
No, I don't.
but we put it in like,
Yeah.
You mean, you're thinking other than in Steele County?
No, in Steele County, only keep them in the county, but like,
You could take the interest payments all of them and then put them into the bank that's giving you the best.
something like that, or the dollar amount wise, I mean, I see one here of Citizens at 480 or 479, is that our best buck? Do we wanna, I don't know how much interest they're making, is it worth it to mess around with it? But would it be beneficial for us as the county to transfer some of that money into another bank that's making better interest, is all I'm getting at.
I could, Gonna add an alarm for any.
You might open up a can of worms that we don't want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we might, but I just would, I mean, if it benefits the county,
Yeah.
I'd, like I say, I don't wanna close one from the
Are they
county.
all, privately owned? Everyone?
I don't know. I'm not saying close any, I wanna keep all three banks,
No, I know.
but I'm just saying the dollar amount would be beneficial. And maybe it's nothing to worry about, maybe it's peanuts, I don't know, but it's just a question.
I could send out an email with the interest rates on it.
Yeah, if you would, just
So
so,
go from there, yeah.
I think the longer you put them in, the more interest rates you get too, so.
maybe these, can you put when they were first put in? How long, can you check back just to see when they're, how long they've been there? Just, I mean, the only thing that worries me is say if we do a 5 or 6 year term, say then all of a sudden, oh, we need that money, is there term, you know, is there penalties to withdraw that or?
We haven't touched them in.
Yeah, that's, I mean, how long have we had them in there? That's what I'd like to know.
I've been here for 11 years, so it's been longer than that.
Well, I got some CDs in the bank down here, and then they send me a renewal notice that's like the end of April,
Mm-hmm.
but it said they haven't decided on the interest rate that they're gonna give us.
Yeah, they don't tell you the.
They don't tell us the new rate.
Oh, until you sign?
So,
I'm just curious. I mean, it's probably nothing we need to do, but I'm just curious what.
Lottery tickets.
Yeah.
So if you could send an email, that'd be great.
Sorry about it, it was just kind of weird that they didn't tell you what the new interest rate's gonna be, they haven't decided yet. So,
The owners of the bank, if they can, they're putting that money back into their pocket that they're making. So, you know, maybe it keeps everybody on.
Okay, well, any other questions for Carrie? Well, thanks for coming in today, Carrie. Appreciate your update, and we're probably gonna just try to continue doing this maybe every couple of months, just to see if there's any issues or so we can keep updated. That's good information for us to have.
yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Thanks for volunteering to go first.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Catherine.
That's fine.
Hopefully you don't have another meeting lined up yet that
Nope.
took you from.
Well, before we start, I've got to say that you have to commend this lady, how she's done it. I've worked 3 of the clinics and everything goes so well, and I know there's probably more involved, but Catherine's done real good.
Good to hear. Thank you, Catherine, for that. It's your first year coming in and kind of dealing, huh? We appreciate all you do.
All right, so vaccines. As of today, we have administered 1,095 doses of COVID vaccine. And so this week we are giving 50 Johnson & Johnson and 120 Moderna. And I have 15 spots still open in the Johnson & Johnson 2 days before. I've had this open for 2 weeks now almost. So I think this will be the last one we accept, since it's gonna be hard to give away at this point.
The 1,095 COVID, that's the first time?
That's first and second doses.
First and second?
So.
So what I'm hearing on like news reports that a lot of people still aren't getting the shots because they don't believe in them or whatever.
Yeah.
Do we know how many Steele County residents actually got the shots that are true Steele County residents?
True Steele County, I believe we're around 40%. Is what I looked
So our population in Steele County is roughly what? So 1,800? So you're roughly at 800?
somewhere around there.
Which truthfully, I think from when we started is probably about 700 more than we thought we'd have.
Yeah.
Are more people coming that are, I mean, you probably don't know it, but are people saying they weren't gonna do it right away and they're changing their mind, come to do it?
There's a lot of faces I see come in that I thought, oh, I never thought you'd do this. So it's interesting to see the people that come. I think it's helped getting a few months into it, seeing that people are all still you know, okay. Also, that you don't have to quarantine 2 weeks afterwards, that's a huge deal to a lot of people. Okay, well, right away, when they still said you had to quarantine and things like that, a lot of people said, well, why do it? If I still have to quarantine, that's pointless. So I think it's really helping that they've lifted some of that. And, yeah, they're,
Are we giving shots to 18 and over?
yep. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are only approved for 18 and over right now. They are looking at, I believe it's Pfizer, to give to 11 to 17-year-olds, but that still hasn't been approved. And we haven't been getting any Pfizer, they haven't even offered us any Pfizer, so because of our storage, I don't think they'll allow us to have it.
Has anybody had any medical effects or any side effects that,
We have had a few that have said they were pretty sick after the second dose. It's hard to pick out who it's gonna be, you know, I've had so many people ask me, well, am I gonna get sick, am I gonna be able to go to Easter this weekend? I don't know, because it's random.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then I've heard of people that did just fine, they just had a sore arm for a few days.
And to go back, I'm thinking of people I saw go through there. If you up that age 35 to 40 and up, I bet you we're at 70%, if not higher.
So,
The younger ones aren't getting it, that's fine, but I think,
so right now we haven't, I think a lot, from what I heard, the last time you did the vaccines, you had 2 extra and you brought it to Trail County?
I had 2 at the very last minute, we had like 24 extra. Just with people backing out, and then we called around, exhausted everybody's phone lists.
Yeah.
We could not find anybody, so then the last 2 people were stuck in their job and said, I'll take it if you'll come to me. So,
This Thursday,
not been wasted.
good. So the next shots are this Thursday, is it?
yep,
At what time?
10 to 1:30.
Okay, and then to sign up, what website do they go to?
That would be ndvax.org. And then they search Steele County and it'll pop up with the clinic.
I just want to make sure that everybody online, if they're listening, that they heard that as well.
So for 18 to 64, as of yesterday, we're at 42.1% vaccinated, the state's at 34. 65 to 74, we're at 73.6, the state's at 64%. And 75 plus, we are at 73.2, and the state's at 71%. So our average is pretty good. And the schools are at 60% in Finley Sharon and 67.44 in Hope Page for their staff, so. And they've all had their second dose, several school staff's been offered, both schools, so they are done. Right now, we have 1 active in the county. Trail has 12. Griggs has 0, so we're just kind of hanging out in between.
The one active we have now, have we not had any for a long time?
We've been doing really well. Wow.
3 weeks or so.
Yeah. I'm gonna start helping Trail County with their vaccines this coming Friday, next Friday, and going over to help them. They have said that we can send anybody that wants from our county over to them. So I'll just keep helping them. They'll take the application. So we'll just work together, and they're having the same trouble we are, trying to.
Get enough people signed up?
Yeah, Brenda went around to businesses afterwards and just tried to find somebody, and so it's getting really difficult.
So will we have shots next Thursday also, Kathleen?
Yep, we have second dose during us next Thursday, and that will be our last second dose clinic.
On the 15th.
Yep,
So you have Johnson shots still available for this Thursday?
Yeah.
20?
15.
50 extras?
15.
15.
Oh, 15, sorry.
Yep. Getting harder to give away.
Okay,
And then I gave you a handout with the statewide vaccinations. And the other thing that just came to light yesterday is our vaccine fridge needs to be on its own outlet circuit. So North Star gave a estimate. Guys. And so right now, it is on an extension cord running back to our south wall. Which, the room that I have only has 2 outlets in it, and they're both on the south wall. Which doesn't work real well, and at our next audit, they will not like that, so.
Can you take this money out of the COVID money?
Yeah, we are sitting at, we're at 45,000 left,
5,000,
45.
45?
And so that'll include my salary for the next, let's see, goes through June. So a few more months of my salary will come into that, and then so I think we'll still be sitting okay to
How much did you say was left on there?
45,000.
45,000. Okay, sorry.
We need a motion on this.
We'll need a motion.
I will.
So we have a motion, by Ted to go ahead and have this outlet put in by North Star Electric. Do we have a second?
Still move.
Second by Russell, all in favor?
Is this just that one outlet or is it more outlets so that you can use for other stuff in your office?
So it's one outlet on its own circuit. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a couple more outlets being in there.
Well, he's running the conduit. It'd probably be the best time to run more.
Yeah.
It's
You bet.
cheapest to do. It's gonna be hardly anything.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, you don't want
I don't know if it says in there, but he thought he could find something in the basement to bring it up. I don't know if it says it on the. Should be on the separate.
she's probably in the best spot.
It doesn't really say much.
Yeah, he thought he could, and I talked to him, I sent him.
I'd maybe have him put another 1 or 2 in,
Yeah,
because it will run the same conduit, I would guess.
as long as you're doing it,
yeah, we have a lot of
you
stuff.
don't have to use the extension cords.
Yeah.
We have a motion made by Ted and by Russell, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Alright, next is the FEMA contracts, which I believe you guys all have in your stuff. One independent contractor between Kevin Corey and the county, just for his hours that he's worked, he's been religiously there every week, helping us out. Skid stuff's going right away in the morning, he's there before I'm even there, has everything ready, tears it down. And then the other one is between JDA. Lori's been there several times, so it's just to reimburse JDA the money for the time that she's with us.
So.
Do we have a dollar amount that's gonna, where we're at so far with that?
I have the hours upstairs, I haven't applied the dollar amounts to the hours yet though.
Okay, one thing we were just talking about with Carrie was, just so we know what bills are coming in, that Carrie and Emily know what the bills that are coming in, so she knows what money's going out and where it's supposed to be coming in. That's what we wanted to talk to you guys about as well, just so keep an eye, keep a hand on that.
Different grant money.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just so when there's a check coming in, just communication, that's all it is.
So, with this, we've run into this before with FEMA where they will pay for, according to Biden presidential orders. FEMA now will reimburse 100% for any vaccine related services. That includes hiring individuals to help through the process. So we've been tracking hours for, Kevin and Lori. And basically this contract just formalizes that so we can go back to FEMA and actually request the reimbursement. Otherwise we go to FEMA and they say, well, we're gonna do like a contract or anything. And if we say no, then they deny us all that stuff. So this is just for those purposes so that we can actually go to FEMA and get that reimbursement. But we will get that money back at 100%.
100%?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking for a motion.
And we are gonna backdate it to the
Yes,
beginning.
that's part, what is included in here, and I believe what's highlighted is that we are backdating this to when they first started helping back in January, so.
That's all kosher with that? I mean, we can do that?
Yep, Charlie was okay with it, he reviewed it, he made a couple of changes, but they're all included in here.
Okay. So we're looking for a motion for that?
You don't know both at once.
Maybe we should do several motions, Kelly, or?
You can do them both, I don't care.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I will list them separately in the motion.
I'll make a motion.
Brandon makes a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ted, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Abstain.
You abstained? Brian abstained.
We want to talk about the courthouse opening with them.
Yeah,
I think we should open to the public, all other states, Game and Fish, things like that opened, so
is Trail County, or do they still have a mask mandate?
they are still in a mask mandate.
Are they open or are they still closed?
I believe the courthouse is still closed, last was talked to them.
It is.
It was at the last meeting, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they said until May.
That's what they were
That's
kind
what
of
they
made
had
for.
known, was the May meeting.
I think they were gonna talk about it today, if I remember it, it was on there, I think it was on their agenda to talk about it.
So we brought this up at our last meeting, we're gonna bring it up at this meeting as well, I think we were gonna talk to the department heads as well, if I remember right. Did we talk to the department heads and ask their opinions on opening? Did anybody talk to them, did you?
Everybody's sounded good about opening so far. I mean, I haven't talked to social services, that's the only one I didn't talk to.
Okay. And they are back in their offices now too, so, what do you guys wanna do? We wanna open back up to the public?
I think we need to, I first thing I want to open up, I think the rest side, front door only,
Yep.
and then,
Is that
still, it should stay there, you still gotta sign in,
Yep.
take your temperature, and then I think it could, I don't know how we inform people that, maybe we have to get some kind of.
So in Trail County, they have a thing outside the door.
Yeah.
Which was really, I thought it was pretty cool that they pressed what office it was. We don't have that, but is there some kind of thing that we can, a phone or something that we can do something out there?
We don't have an extra phone, we'd have to wire it up all the way and then get on another system, I believe, Emily, right? Because I think we're pretty tapped out on phones. I don't think we're gonna have that.
Are they gonna do their temperature and their sign-in all themselves, by themselves? Do we just gonna get a little shooter that they can just check their temp?
They can just walk up to that.
Well, that's electronic.
Okay,
Right next to the door, so because if you walk by it, it'll say, stand closer, check the
Okay.
temperature, so I think.
That's in the front of it.
so we'll make a little sign that they need to do that. Are we gonna have them write down their temperature in the sheet? Should we?
It's health.
Okay,
I mean, it's gonna say pretty loudly that you are not okay, so.
okay.
Somebody on the first level is gonna hear that. I would
Okay.
think. Even on the second level, you might be able to hear that.
If they're there.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we open, when are we gonna open? Are we gonna open effective tomorrow, or what's our plan?
I think we're ready. I think we're fine with it here, I think.
I talked to Dina about cleaning. She's fine with running that auger.
Let's worry about full.
That's what was gonna be my question, is have we trained her or got her up to date on using that and starting?
Has she been using that?
No.
She hasn't been, but she used it at her previous job, so it's just a quick.
Has anybody been using that? I thought we were using that.
We use it at the court, or at the auditorium every week.
Nothing here.
Is it here?
It's there, it's not that hard right now.
Well, we have two. We have a handheld. The handheld can stay there. The backpack one can come here.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be an issue with.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna do that before, spray or hose down the courthouse. That was our intention.
We did.
Well, let's keep on that. Doesn't sound like it's being done.
Just want to note that as of Thursday, April 8th, it has been 1 full year since the house has been closed, not closed, but open by appointment.
1 year, it's been
1 year as of this Thursday.
Hey, guys, so we're gonna open up the courthouse. Is that what everybody agrees on?
As of
Tomorrow, are we doing a motion on that, or
With
Mo?
the specifications.
that's your motion? Brian made a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Second by Ted. All in favor?
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried.
and the back door will be just for employees.
That back door does lock now, correct?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good.
Please, who's
Now
gonna,
Russell fixed it.
Russell, yeah.
so Dina will be in charge of spraying. She will be trained on that. Let's stay on that.
I'll run get that stuff today. I can get in there, so I can grab it and you have the chemical in your substrate. Send it, stay on that, ordering that.
All right, thank you. Is anything else you have?
I'm starting routine vaccinations, so that'll be filling up my time too, so you may not see me around the office a lot, please use my cell phone. The cell phone number I sent out to you all if you need to get
Just,
a hold of me.
just a reminder, Catherine does have a county phone now, so please use her county phone unless you absolutely need to get a hold of her. You can use her personal phone.
Correct. Right, that's all I have.
Any other questions for Catherine before she leaves?
What is their phone number?
270-0139.
270-0139.
And that's 701.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Thanks again for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Take a quick recess.
We have a motion made by Brandon for quick recess. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Second by Ted. We'll take a short 5-minute recess. It is 11:03.
Now,
You're full.
Am I gonna come in soon?
You probably need to?
No.
No.
I'm just so excited.
Yeah, you're next. Well, you can be next.
get that up and the backs. That order. You want this?
Oh, Russell.
Sanitizer.
Grab the carpet.
We did have Precision come out yesterday afternoon too, guys. Wayne, have you been upstairs? Anyone been upstairs?
I've got it upstairs.
They came Precision yesterday to try fix that first toilet.
What, want to fix that toilet?
Supposedly.
Oh,
I don't know, it was really bad again yesterday, so.
yeah, it's not a sign.
What's wrong with it?
That's not one with that problem.
It doesn't flush?
Not flushing, yeah.
Yeah, just
And then not flushing, it started leaking around
No, you're not.
where it comes up to the handle.
Oh.
So I don't know.
All right, we'll reconvene our meeting. It's 11:07. Up next, we have Amy, Tax Director. Good morning. Thank you for coming.
I only have one thing for this meeting, and that is a building permit from Todd Austinson. He did actually show up here the same day that Wayne was gonna deliver, so he paid for it.
Perfect. Everything's kosher. He's got everything on there that you need?
Yep.
Okay, we need a motion by Brian to approve the building permit. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brandon. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. How's your equalization meetings going? Or have you started this?
Yep.
How many have you done?
6 or 7 was it yesterday, and then I've had 2 this morning. And they're all good so far.
Okay, and when will you be wrapped up with all those?
Thursday.
Okay. This one?
Yep, Thursday at 3:30 is my last one.
Okay, sounds good. Do you have anything else for us? That was pretty simple.
Next month.
Next month. Any questions for Amy while she's here? How's your other properties?
Assessing.
Have you had much time to do them or?
Yeah, I've been trying to do as much as I can outside of work.
Sure.
I mean, to be honest, I probably could do more, but I don't want to burn myself out.
Yep. We
So I'm
understand.
gonna do as much as I can.
Okay.
So everything's going pretty smoothly so far.
Do you know approximately how many are left or not really?
There was, I was trying to think, 60 left, 50 to 60 last time, and I got maybe 10, 15 done
Okay,
from last month to this month, so.
okay. Have you had many people come to the township meetings? Been pretty quiet?
Mhm.
Any concerns that anybody's brought up that we should know about?
Nothing that I can think of. Nobody's brought anything up yet,
Okay,
so I think Golden Lakes might possibly, just with the new addition on the south side, but that hasn't, no deed's been recorded yet, so.
okay, I think
Some new properties have been put up there.
we're signing that today.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for the update. Anybody else got any questions? Well, where she goes?
You better agree than that. Find people places.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
I listened to Wayne, and I could have just took 200 yesterday to,
If I would have sent it to 200 to Tommy Ertz's place going that way, you would have been lost for.
that's the way I came back, and I ended up by Rock and R, so maybe.
You took the scenic route.
I took the scenic route.
If you went that way, then you went on the Tommy line, then you went way out your way.
I went past the road, and then I seen James Bolton pass me, so I turned around quick. Knew I went the wrong way.
Hope you're driving a company vehicle,
But I am.
so we didn't get charged mileage for your scenic route.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
All right, well, thank you, Amy, for your update, and
Thank
if
you.
you need anything else, please
Thank you.
reach out to us. Okay, we got left, extension position. I do want us to talk to, Carly and tell her our decision and our thoughts that we talked about at the meeting, and I also would like to talk to Dina. Is she here today?
Yeah.
If she could come up and talk to us for a few minutes, that'd be great. Okay.
So just to clear out the extension portion of it, last month, you guys decided to advertise for the part-time position. revisit full-time at budget time when we go through that. We're just going through the ad, Angie and I, and then they decided not to run it at all and wait. They don't really want to train a part-time person, is my understanding. They'll try to manage it.
They want to do a full-time, don't they?
They do, yeah.
And we were
So
gonna
I
see
think
if we
they're
could do
just
something for 'em.
trying to wait out till budget time to hire someone else, which
Good morning.
I don't know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if everybody knows you, but maybe you can just say your name.
Dina Splitstazer.
Nice to meet you.
I don't, nobody can say it. You can't even say it.
I just wanted to have you come up and introduce yourself to everybody here, and I also want to say when I came in this morning, it looked really good here.
Good, thank you.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't even clean because they've been doing these lights and I can't go and work behind them because they just make a mess, so.
No, just wanted to say thank you and
Oh, good.
appreciate all you're doing, and we really want to keep the courthouse as clean as we can.
Yeah.
It looks great when we come in. One thing I do want to add is there's a fogging machine here for spraying.
I've done it, used them before.
Okay, they're gonna teach you how to run it just to make sure everything's good on that, and we want to emphasize on that, to keep that going.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know how to do a fogging machine. We used to do it at VCSU. I had the 360 Clorox fogging.
okay,
And there's a little one for the music center and music department, so.
okay, okay. I think if I remember right, we were gonna check on a floor scrubbing machine also. Did we ever get any prices back from a local company on that?
The local companies didn't have any. They were like $5,000 or $6,000. I did find one from Clean Freak, and it was 1,300 something. I don't have it.
Did you check with Steins as well?
Yes.
Okay, Renco and Fargowood?
I checked anywhere around here that had them,
Okay.
even Cat. They didn't have anything, but yeah, Steins, that's the $6,000 one.
And what kind of machine were you looking for again?
It was just a,
Is it a scrubbing floor machine?
yes,
And then also with a vacuum on there?
yes.
Okay,
So, cause then you can do it with water and it just cleans it
Yep.
immaculate. You don't have to worry about having, it doesn't get all the corroding on there and it dries quickly.
I did buy one at Steins, I think for like $3,400.
Real, yeah, the one I've seen, they didn't have any used ones. The Clean Freak one is a used one, refurbished.
Okay,
But the only one I saw at Steins, that was the little blue, I think it was blue. And, it was like $6,000.
okay. I'm gonna send Emily a picture of the one I got. And
Okay.
why don't you check on that?
Okay.
See if that one works for you. If it doesn't, whatever, then we can act on the next month and do something for you.
Okay, perfect. Do you have one? And that,
I got two of them.
is that two of them?
Yeah.
That would be nice. But I did polish all the floors
It looks great.
and they look like they're wet.
Yeah,
So,
looks good. Looks good. We really appreciate that. Anybody else have any comments?
Just so you know, courthouse is gonna reopen tomorrow.
okay, that's fine.
Just, yeah, just so you're aware though, I mean,
Oh, that's the opening day?
well, yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
You're my hot dogs.
Free hot dog, woo! No.
Huh?
Washer and dryer.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
that didn't pan out.
I was so disappointed. I found a washer and dryer for $200 and I didn't go there because I had a migraine from the shot. So I stayed home and I emailed him, I messaged him and he already sold it,
Okay.
but it was, yeah,
So do we don't have a washer and dryer right now?
no.
Okay. And I know that would be very handy.
Yeah, because I can wash, but I'll just take it home until because I'm not gonna buy anything that's gonna be, $500 or $600. That's just,
Do we have, where would we put that? Do we have any place that we could set that up and?
Can we get it stackable? That would work.
see, I saw a stackable for $100. The washer stopped sometimes, and I was thinking that would be good, but I didn't want it, it was on the weekend.
Well, I wonder, wouldn't a stackable work, I mean, for the, as much as you have to do?
Yeah, it's not very much.
So usually you wash your cloths and your dust mops and stuff and your mop heads.
The mops.
It's usually 2 loads, cause I don't wash the mops with the rags because they shred. So you don't want them to get,
Maybe what you could do for our next meeting is, maybe look to see where we could set it up and a price to how much it would cost to set it up somewhere.
so we need it somewhere where there's
Water
plumbing
and, yes.
already. So probably by that sink downstairs.
In the
In the
basement.
In the
basement.
basement.
Yes, down there in that janitor room.
Right.
Would you,
Or
would
third
you
floor
check-
closet. Those were my thoughts.
Where?
The third floor by that utility sink, those closets
Oh,
there.
yeah, there would be a good.
But I don't
spot.
know. Those are just random.
There's
Wayne
water.
doesn't like my idea.
Which one?
The closet on the third floor
Yeah, there's those.
by
two
the
closets.
utility.
The old bathroom, you can't use the one,
Yeah.
because that's, you'll never fit in there, maybe the other one, but not.
If
You
it's,
couldn't use the one closest, that one, you'd have to use the other one,
if it's stackable, that would
because we
work.
need to get back in there
Oh.
sometime.
Why don't you check on a price of a stackable
The
new
other
one?
Okay,
And then check on the price for electrician to come in and wire it, and then for a plumber to come and do the water and sewer. And then come back to our next meeting. How's that sound, you guys?
Those are actually bathrooms, what they are.
yeah, and that would have everything in it. That would
Yeah,
be
so if you
awesome.
use the one closer to Don's old office, you can't use that first one. Ain't enough room.
So it'd be the second
Yeah. That one might work.
by the sink, closer to the sink.
No, it's
Oh.
going away from the sink.
Okay.
The toilet issue resolved.
Yes, I went up there today. We got a plunger, we plunged it, but it didn't seem to flush correctly.
It's not, I don't think it's stuck, there's something wrong with it.
Well, I called, Precision yesterday, so
It's working now?
it's working perfect. I got it all cleaned up in there.
Was it leaking? Did that fix or no?
It wasn't leaking.
It was at one point.
Yeah.
After you mentioned the first time and he plunged, it would come up between the handle flushing.
Yes,
There on
it
the-
was plugged, so the water coming up that way, it was plugged, so it would leak. I noticed the women's did the same thing when you flush it too much, so you don't flush the women's
Did they
bathroom.
fix that one too, so it doesn't stick in?
No,
Well, if it's still not.
I did. Well, we might need somebody in. I think that was fine, as long as you don't hold it down.
Okay, well, if you could do that for our next meeting, we appreciate that.
Okay,
And
so
thanks for
plumbing,
meeting.
electricity, and the washer and dryer, and you're gonna send her a
I'll send
picture.
it, yep.
Perfect,
Sounds good. We appreciate it and thanks for coming aboard.
thank you.
Have a good day.
No, please.
Go clean.
All right, what else we got left here?
I wanna bring up one thing. I was hoping we had a washer and dryer to settle that, but no,
No.
good price. Food for thought, down the road. I have one more year left. This December I'll begin with social service. Down the road, I think we definitely need to have 2 commissioners. Because after the last meeting, and then them trying to run the food pantry. There's 2 people that are running the food. Renee didn't even get called for a meeting. They did it Monday. They never even called Renee about being it. And it's Dennis and Kelly that are running. Something's wrong. When you have 3 board members, they should be all involved in it.
You're talking about the meeting that was yesterday?
Yes.
I did get a text from Renee at 10 o'clock today.
I got a call this morning.
She wasn't at that meeting?
No, she wasn't told.
Here's what she texted me. She said, food pantry met quick yesterday. Dennis and Sam will be at the next Agassiz meeting in Hillsborough on the 22nd. Hamburger vouchers will be given out to use at the local grocery store was discussed. Also, backpack program for the 2 Steele County schools were discussed. Sam will contact Jeff Larson and Angie Zerfus. That's what she sent me a text.
Well, Monday they didn't have a meeting and she was not called about the meeting. So I don't know if Sam was there or not. I don't know. But it's Dennis and Kelly that are running it, and granted, we don't have a thing to do with it as far as commission. But Carroll County is running. I'm telling you that right now, that Kim's got her nose in.
Well, I think, I did visit with Kim about this, the food pantry, and she has asked the food pantry what direction they want her to run it. And they have not got back to her.
They've asked Kim to run it?
Kim has asked how they should run it.
Oh,
So, our food pantry board is really needs to take the ball and get this going.
absolutely.
Is that maybe why they're attending the next meeting?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Orlane talks to me about it all the time too. She said that she's disappointed with Kelly of treasurer or whatever she is. When she wants a treasurer's report, she shows up with a bank statement. And that's it.
Well, that's something that, that board has to take care of. I mean, we sure will back them whatever we can, but we have no jurisdiction over that.
No.
And unfortunately, I mean, we wanted to see it go, but we don't have jurisdiction. So if there's any issues, they need to talk to the food pantry board members.
Well,
Refer it on to them.
maybe you guys are aware of it, but the door was taped shut downstairs going into that meeting room.
Keep shut.
Yep.
It was taped shut.
So that you can tell if somebody had been in there.
And so
Private eye.
I brought it up at the meeting for your social service.
And that somebody was me, by the way. I got their wagon out because their tires were completely flat went up when they could carry food out. So I brought that over to the county shop and they put new tires on it.
But you didn't tape it.
You don't, no, you
Yeah.
didn't take, Kelly, they said take it.
I don't know who taped it, but I
But she
saw it.
doesn't even come over to the courthouse.
I
got
did see it.
brought up from Kim why she can't sit in her room with the door locked and answer the phone, and if somebody wants her, they
Well-
go over there.
So that's the other issue that the food pantry needs to tell the Agassiz Valley Board, certain days they'll be open so people can come in. There's so many things that need to be done that, they need to communicate the two boards, and I talked to, Kim about that last week. So hopefully they'll get some things figured out, when they're gonna meet on. We can set the rumors to rest and set, get certain times that they can be, that they're open.
100%, because my thinking is we need to work towards an end goal here and work together.
I agree 100%, but.
We can't go back and have these meetings where it's a knockdown, drag out. I don't want to call it whatever it is. We have to work progression here. So looking for ideas of how we can do that. You know.
We have nothing to do with the food pantry as far as us as a committee.
Absolutely.
That's our problem, we
And,
don't.
and, our concerns, it goes back on that board.
Yeah, and if two people are trying to run the board, is what we heard over at that last meeting, that Kelly and Dennis are the two, they won't even let the people look at the checking account, see how much money there is in the savings. They won't, the other two, they don't get to look at it.
Well, with a new board member on there, hopefully they'll take and start on the
Who's the new board member?
Renee.
Well, but they won't let her look at it.
Well, she's not gonna put up with that.
Well, this is what they said over at social service the other day, that it was Kelly and Dennis who did it.
If you just got a text from her like.
She will know.
She knows.
It's gonna, Renee will find out.
Well, Renee should find us.
She's not gonna put up with that.
Well, anyways.
Could I just clarify or ask Ted from that last social service meeting? I don't know, I can't tell if this call-in user is Charlie or not. But was there a clear direction on what the employees here should do when they receive these phone calls? I know that was a lot of scuffle and talk in the past month. And I told Charlie, you know what, we need to, instead of getting defensive and always saying there's not an issue and the issue's up here, we're all have the same end goal, and that's to make sure the county is being served and the needs are being met. And obviously, you know, these department heads are not out seeking phone calls. They're just simply trying to help people the best they can when they receive these phone calls. It does reflect poorly on every county employee when people aren't getting services or getting calls back and whatnot. So I suggested that we come up with a solution. Let's come up with a good solution together and all work together to get this resolved. It's been ongoing for some time.
And we did.
Clearly, the information or numbers that they think are out there are not getting to the right people, or maybe people just, who knows? I can't make excuses for people, but the fact is they are calling. So what
I think
are we,
for right,
what can we do?
for right now, the county
I'm
has
on
nothing to do
phone.
with the food pantry.
Hang on, Charlie. Is that you?
That's me.
Okay, hi.
So, I don't want to mix the issue.
We lost you.
Charlie? You want to try that again, Charlie?
Okay, here I am.
Okay, go for it.
But I don't know what's going on, but when I unmute myself, then I get muted right away for some reason. But well, hopefully it'll work. But what I was saying is I don't want to mix the issues up. I think Brandon broached the food pantry deal, and that was addressed and is being followed up on Agassiz Valley's end, as I understand it. I don't know where that's at. And then there's the phone calls issue, which we did talk about somewhat at length. And what it boiled down to was, I'll give you guys an example, is that, so the last call that went to the clerk of court's office was someone looking for information on maybe medical assistance or something like that, okay? Well, Kim did, and I talked to her about this. I said, you should, because it turned out that was our client, as you guys all know. So I said, you should do some QR here or quality control here and find out from that person how or why they called the Steele County Clerk of Court's office. Okay. So she did that. And the answer was that person who was already a client and who had a worker in her home, as I understand it, a week or so prior to that call, that person, that caller, said he or she, I don't know, gender, said that she talked to a friend who told her she should call Steele County Clerk of Court for that issue. And the person that called was a Trail County resident. So what does that tell you? What that tells you is that we can have numbers blasted all over the place, and these calls are still going to happen. I mean, that call, whether there was somebody in the Steele Agassiz Valley office or not, that call was going to the clerk of court's office because that's what they were going to do. There's only so much, there's been 5 or 6 or 7 over the last 3, 4, 5 months. Well, Agassiz Valley serves 1,000 and some people. So in reality, I'm not trying to defend anything here, but in reality, that's a pretty dang good percentage. If you only have 5 or 6 calls coming in over 3, 4 months to a different department, that's a 95+% ratio that aren't. And we also discussed at the meeting that the difference between Agassiz Valley and the balance of all departments in both Trail and Steele is that they literally do serve way more people directly than basically almost everybody combined. And so you're going to have that. And just was also discussed that just the sheer clientele that they serve is less affluent, probably less ability for on technology end. And sometimes people are going to take the path of least resistance, just say, I'm just going to call, and then I'll get, even if I don't know that that's the right place to call, I'm going to call so that I can get the information I want as quickly as I can get it from, whatever source. And, the other thing about, that, well, I guess I already mentioned that, but, so, yeah, it was discussed and talked about at length at the meeting, and, it's certainly still, as I understand it, on Kim's radar and agenda, but the long and the short is that you're gonna get those calls. It's inevitable, and people are just gonna do it. And, I don't think there's any, I think it sounded like earlier Kim, went through all of her service numbers with you guys, but, certainly they're serving a lot of people. And, I guess the other thing I was going to say about that call to the clerk of court's office is that the person who called said that they had called and left messages but hadn't been returned. Well, we don't even know where those messages were left if the person is calling the clerk of court's office. And the only way you would know is if you questioned that person and said, what number did you call? Where did you leave the message? And so on. And then a lot of people that are served by Agassiz Valley, this was discussed as well, don't have voicemail, for example. Don't even have it set up, or they don't listen to it, or don't even answer the phone sometimes. So I personally don't think it's near the concern that some do, just after going through and fleshing things out. So I guess all we can do is continue to work to get those numbers out like Kim is trying to do, and see where things fall. But the bottom line is it wouldn't, I know I'm not trying to emphasize it, but whether someone's at social services full time there or not, that call is not going to go there. It goes to their central receptionist and then gets dispatched out to whatever worker the client either is working with or that the client would need to work with. So I don't think the calls are happening because there's not someone there. So that's basically all that was discussed. Ted was there. I think that pretty much covers it.
There's stuff that was left out that Randy claims that in our contract with them, it is not kept up the way they're saying. There's issues there with that contract.
Right. That's good, but that's going to be different than the phone calls. So yeah, there was discussion about where the state was in terms of allowing or not prohibiting workers from being back in the office, and Kim, I think, is beginning the transition to bring Kelly back at least another day per week, and with the goal of ultimately back in the office there full time when she doesn't have other restrictions on her from her higher ups. But that's different than the phone calls.
Well, I'm under the impression that any call that goes into the social service downstairs is supposed to be answered either in that office or at Hillsborough. So we shouldn't have to be.
Well, it's not.
Is that right?
There is no phone that will be. Anybody that calls social services, that call, as I understand it, I could be wrong, but as I understand it, goes through the receptionist in Trail County who's there full time. Although I understand over the last 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, months, she's had, I'm not to disclose, but she's had medical issues, so there were some times where she wasn't there all the time. So there was a period of time, a window of time where she was short-staffed over there because of, well, you guys can about guess what it was. But my understanding is that there's one access line to social services that goes through the receptionist, and then that receptionist dispatches those calls out to whomever they need to be dispatched to.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. It was brought up before.
Yeah. So if it's someone that Kelly works with, that's dispatched to Kelly's number. it's someone that, you know, whoever else, you know, I know there's some trail people that are providing services in Steele, so they get dispatched to that person. So for me, I at first I thought I was a little bit alarmed, but then I tried to put things in perspective. I don't know what that was, but if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, the number of calls that are going to a different office in comparison to the number of people that they are working with is rather small. So,
Well, I think we agree with you, but it's, the same, respect that if we get one call, that's too many, that we're just nervous, that somebody's not getting taken care of and needs help. And that's probably why our guards are a little high.
no, and I get that. Like at my Steele phone, when I'm not there, I have a specific message that says contact I give them the trail number because that's where my secretary is full time every day. They'll still Google it and call my Crookston office, and leave. It happens at least 2-3 times a month, and doesn't make any sense, but that's what they do. You know, and the example I gave was, you know, sometimes say if I have a credit card issue, and there's 2 numbers on the back. One is calling for a lost card. One is calling for customer service. Well, guess what? I call the lost card one every time because I know I'm going to get an answer because they deal with those. That's what they're most worried about. So, yeah, people are going to do what people do. And I just, you know, Richard, it's hard to say, is there someone out there not getting services? Because how are you going to know that? But so I understand that concern, but
it's just the concern that we want to make sure that, you know, that people are getting handled. I think Kim will be meeting with the food pantry. Hopefully they can just figure out certain dates of the month that they'll give food out. And there'll be a better understanding between both boards, so they know what's going on between the both of them. And hopefully.
Yeah, and you know, I think personally, it feels like there's a lot of hearsay out there right now that would really be nice to get everybody at the same table and determine what is and what is not accurate, and what get a clear understanding from the food pantry board of what their plan is and what their protocol is going to be going forward. Because it does feel as though there's a little disarray there right now, and that just needs to get fixed up. So
there is a disarray, and I think I have a feeling that it's going to come to a head here soon. I think everything's going to be good.
It should. If it doesn't get fixed here in the next couple months, something is going to have to be a meeting with the Steele Commission and food pantry and perhaps Agassiz Valley.
Charlie, it's their own board. We really don't have jurisdiction. We don't have jurisdiction over it. It's the Steele County Food Pantry themselves. They have to figure out what they want their board. We have no jurisdiction.
I agree with that, but there's nothing preventing Steele Commission from saying, "Hey, we'd like to invite you guys to our meeting because we have input from our constituents that we'd like to share directly with you."
I've been to the meeting and explained this to them already.
What's that?
I've already been on one of their meetings, their Zoom meetings, and explained that to them, and I think other commissioners have also reached out to a couple board members, and I think this meeting between Agassiz Valley and the food pantry is gonna be a very good outcome.
So I'm hoping for. I plan to attend that. So
is it open to? Can we come to it? Can one of us commissioners go to it or listen in or?
That's a good question. Is it? It may be open to the public or a public meeting. I mean, I think she publishes, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's an open meeting or not.
And then reach out to one of us, or maybe I or one of us can join the meeting.
Yeah, well, and you have Ted on there, so But, I'll check on that Richard, would you think you'd want to attend yourself?
I would like to, yes.
Okay, let me check on it and I'll get back in touch with you, on whether it's a open meeting or not. And if so, I'll let Kim want to attend.
Sounds good, Charlie. Thank you.
Okay, you guys have a good rest of your day. Very well run meeting, by the way, Richard.
Thank you. Anybody else got questions for Charlie quick before he leaves? Brian? Anything?
I'd like to just at some point get a clear answer for the employee group.
I-
What are we doing when the phone call comes in?
Dispatch center with a number over and over.
Oh, well, we did.
For
we did
now,
talk more about that.
till they get something figured out, we have to just refer them to the number downstairs. Cause legally we can't help them, unfortunately.
Right.
So until they get a game plan figured out, we have to refer the number on.
Okay.
It's just.
I'm sorry, I can't help you. You need to call this number, and that's the end.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's what we don't wanna do, but we have to.
No, I agree. It's just, there's one direct answer now, and we'll tell the departments, and that'll be that.
So is social service down there every day now?
I did see Kelly bringing in a lot of stuff today. She brought a monitor and stuff in, and she was carrying a lot of stuff in this morning when I came, so. I don't know what her schedule is now.
Kim said that she was here yesterday and now she's here today too. But I just wondering.
I'm not sure.
Is there protocols and whatever with COVID now?
I did talk to Kim last week and she said that she was coming in more and more now. I didn't get the hours, but she is coming in more.
After the social service meeting, I'm sure she got her.
Okay, well, thanks, Charlie. We appreciate your advice.
Yep, appreciate it, guys. Have a good day. Rest of your day.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you. So what we have left here is I'd like to talk to Carly yet, you guys, before end of our meeting.
We didn't do the extensions. What are we doing there?
I was just updating you as to where we were from
I think they're.
last month's meeting to where it went, and I don't know if you guys have anything to add to it, but
I think they're kind of looking at waiting for the budget so they can hire more of a full-time person, correct?
Yeah.
are you guys feeling confident that you're gonna go that route? Is it worth them holding off? That's my concern is,
She went from one in there to wanting 3 now, and she just lost that one that left was, what, 3 days a week?
2.
And never heard her complain anything about it then. Well, now why does she want a full time? My opinion is if they want a full time, let's go to NDSU and ask them for a full time.
Is she coming next month? Who's set up to come from is her department coming next month, you know?
I can look. I sent out that whole schedule, but
What we should do, I mean, while we're waiting, we should just have her come in and give her a case.
waiting till the next budget is all the way till next January. That's a long time. To not have help. I'd hate to have her not have any help till then.
That's 9 months.
Yeah.
But there's 2 of them in there. So I mean, she's got help. She's got a full-time person in there, haven't you?
She's not here full time. No, she's split somehow with Nelson.
Yeah.
Oh, 3
A percentage,
3 with
yes.
Steele and 2 with Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we picked up
When
that
she was
extra.
here, she's very busy down there.
cost.
They're busy. It'd be best for her to explain it then.
So, just I wanted to update you guys so you can think about that.
Okay. Hi Carly, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Peachy.
I guess we wanted you to come in and we wanted to discuss the job in 911. I don't know if you were listening or not. We did offer it to Ben. You know, it was a very tough decision. We have a lot of respect for you. You do a great job for us. We want to see you grow here. You know, when Russell asked, where do you see yourself in 10, 20 years? You said you'd like to retire here. We'd love that. So with that, we we would like to know, we don't have anything right yet.
Mhm.
But would you be or would you want to do other jobs with the county as far as, say, for example, our worry is with Ben is being overloaded. So say if something with the road came about or something, if Amy, has to do more of the tax stuff, turns into more full-time tax, would you want to do something with that office, auditor's office?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we do not want to lose you.
Mhm.
So.
Yep.
um,
I'm pretty open.
we feel you could do that job very well as well. The reason we did go with Ben is because it intertwines with his emergency management a lot. He's got more experience right now. We know you can learn and you would learn very fast. You're very capable.
Mhm.
I think those are the huge points. I don't know if you guys want to add some more things, but, like I say, we really value you around here. So.
I don't know what this job can entail, and Emily can certainly, she's the one that has to speak up on it, but I understand that she's gonna take on this P card stuff. To me, that looks like it's a lot of work. I think she deserves a little bit more money to do that job. I don't know, maybe it's not even, I don't know. I don't know how much more responsibility it is, but to me, that looked like a lot of. Cause I know I'm gonna put it through hell in my office doing P card stuff, so.
I was gonna go there. I'm all for her getting paid more. I mean, she does a great job and I absolutely don't want to lose her. The P card thing, I think, and Carly can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that it will actually improve the checks and the billing if the department heads can manage their bills.
Oh, I agree.
Right now, they all turn in their bills and they're a hot mess to Carly, and she's got to pick up the edges for them or the lack of edges. I know your department is going to be more, need more assistance. That's a good way to put it, than most other departments. So, but she also is part your office too, so that ties into that part as well. So.
I just think it's gonna be a while before it comes to a normalcy where she's gonna get used to that, and so it's a big responsibility, that P card deal.
It is.
I'm for it, I understand it, I'm not against it.
Well, it's gonna be the highway department and the sheriff's office, because they get gas every day, or fuel or something, so they're gonna be using the card more, there's gonna be more transactions, more stuff for Carly to look over, and.
That should come in all a simplified, balanced report
Yep.
before it gets to her.
Yeah.
So it should be a simple
It was supposed to have been
process.
better, that's why it went.
Yes.
I believe it will be, it's just gonna take a while to do it. It's gonna be very confusing, I think, for a while. There's still a lot of questions I have on what it's supposed to be used for and what not, and how we can use it. If we have to go through with the part-time people, they don't have cards, how do they fill up? I mean, there's a lot of questions that we have to figure out, so.
Well, I will say this, like I said, we offered it to Ben. We gave him a little probation period, whether or not, if he looks like he's, overloaded too much, then we would maybe try to take something from him and bring to you. But like I said, we definitely do not want to lose you. We really appreciate all you do.
Stay with us.
And I'm sorry that we didn't hire you for this. It was a very tough decision.
Okay, thank you for considering.
Thank you for applying. Anything else that you want to talk about, or how's everything else going at the courthouse? Good.
Issues.
Well, like I said, we appreciate you here. So.
I
All right.
think we, was working through some of this, we can definitely see where, as we were talking to that tax director role, who was getting like a lot of work. So, I mean, in your office too, and it's something we should sit down and talk about.
I'd actually like everybody, to have it as a agenda item one time that you guys kind of review all of the county duties and all of the pay structures too. Because I think that when you look at it on paper, it's kind of all over the board. And right now, Trail County is going through a salary,
Adjustment?
what am I, yeah. They're looking at having a company come in and do a salary survey, schedule, like increases, all of that. Looking at the different departments, the duties and where they should be, kind of. So maybe we can get some guidance after that goes through over there, or maybe consider doing that here too. But I think it's definitely, it's been many, many years since anything was done, but
If you can, do you have some free time, maybe you can send us an email where everybody's at for wages?
absolutely.
Send-
I do that in this next month or so, getting ready for budgets anyway. By the end of the month, the budget packets will go out to the departments to start putting in their items, and then we compile all the information in May. So your budget binders go out at your June meeting to start reviewing, and we'll get back into that process. So it's really coming up soon. But yeah, I can definitely send that out if you guys want to start looking at those.
The percentage broke down of which each department they work as well.
Right.
Good.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, well, thank you, Carly. Sorry again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good day. So I do got a, for Golden Lake, here's a little plat on the southwest corner of the lake. They extended the lots. It's all platted, and then there's a new deeded road there. This road wasn't deeded before to the public. It was supposed to be, but it was not. The attorney did it before, did it wrong. So we didn't know whether the township themselves should have a 2-week, published meeting about this, but since it wasn't deeded to the public, we don't need to, is what our attorney told us, the township attorney. So we did approve it at our Golden Lake Township meeting to sign this upon that it was correct, that we could sign it without having a 2-week meeting. So we did approve it. It's not signed yet, but I'll have to sign it in front of a notary here. All we're looking for is a motion to approve this from the county level. We've done these before with certain things. It's just usually if the township, city, or whatever approves it, we usually approve it as well.
Just like we approved the plat on the east side.
Yep.
Those extra lots last year.
So if you want to look that over, and then we'll have a motion for that. A little background on that. I think it's added about 20 lots. Pretty much everybody bought behind them. There was one or two that didn't buy lots behind them. So somebody else bought the lots behind them, and then they have to provide an easement to provide access to the front lots. It's a recorded easement too, so I mean, that way everything's legal. Any other questions on that? Motion made by Brian. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Second by Ted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Bills.
Needed, yep. Motion for approval of bills.
So moved.
Motion made by Russell. Do we have a second?
All seconds.
Second by Brandon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You guys got all I know Brandon and usually send you, but the financials sent out the quarterly, now that the first quarter's done. So that's where we sit for expense, and then I sent you the account balances for the different funds. So, if you have any questions on those, let me know. You guys have anything else? Or did you have questions on any of that? No?
I don't think so.
I have one thing. I know I'm just very mad at you, but that's not fair enough, and that's the option.
I was gonna bring that
I've
up.
been forever, I thought it would be on the agenda, and it wasn't, so. Well, it's not my fault, I'm not in charge of the option.
I'm
Well,
not
in
either.
charge, I don't bring it up.
I was gonna bring that up.
So it's,
when we're done.
it'll be Scott Erickson's turn. That's not the last one, because we tried to do both the local ones, so we split it up, because they were kind of coming one, so. We kind of going at a time, is that something you still want to do this spring? Or you want to hold off? I've got 4, 5 vehicles that gotta get out of here. I have, I don't know how many duck and goose decoys, I've got 2 little boats, I got clothes, I got desks, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but it's smaller. I don't know if Reed has anything from that you guys are looking on in the shop side to get rid of, and I don't know what else is left.
Well, there's stuff in the basement, we wanna go down there.
I mean, the basement stuff, I don't know what we can, I mean, we've taken so much out of there, I mean, it needs, some stuff just needs to go that I can't say goes, so. We got 30,000 of these down there, you know, but these are originals.
Well, we've talked about meeting up with the heads and I said I would take the lead on that and.
Yeah, I see, it's happened.
So, if we can, I'd like to see an auction maybe, I don't know, end of May. So we have it for a June meeting maybe, so we know the results.
Okay.
You know, we talked about that oil tanker over there you'd want to get rid of that, the county shop. Whatever else.
I mean, I told the people, that we had a meeting with one of them, and the department heads, and I said, anything that's not marked downstairs, go with guys. You wanna keep it, you better mark it.
We should set up like a spring cleaning day.
Week or something, or there's a lot of stuff. How are you guys, what are you guys thinking, like, say if, maybe we can talk to Erickson and see if we can do the May 24th through 28th right in there sometime?
I think we'll be done by way of
Done before, during the week, have an auction.
Yeah,
one
one
auction.
like a Thursday or something, that the guys come in and the county guys.
Just don't have it on the fourth Thursday, because that's,
So you're gonna make spring work, but it looks like that's.
well, that's their social service.
Right.
Unless you have it in the afternoon, we're fine.
Is that too soon or what? Or is-
Well, that's 2 months or a month
Are
and
we
a half.
looking at the end of June?
End of May.
No, I'd say like the May 24th to the 28th.
Yep.
That gives us time to have a
And then
clean
that
out
way
day
it's
between
over
that.
before our June meeting, so we could see the results right there. And
We talked about taking all the stuff that she has done in there, and we're gonna put that new door in, you know, we have about cleaning that out for her. And.
I'll send an email.
Over there, maybe somebody else is going.
I'll send an email out to all the department heads at a certain day, and then we're just gonna do that.
Okay, let's get that done then. So we-
Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And I can't be yelled at for that to the agenda, because Richard's going to do that. Well, there's one down on the record.
I ask you all the time if you have anything.
Anything else that we wanna talk about, or is that everything on the agenda? That's everything? Okay, so we had approval of bills, right?
Yep.
We got everything else, so a motion to adjourn? Motion by Russell, do we have a second?
Yep.
Motion, or second by Ted, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Madam,
Have a good day.
you have a date?